Let's see if this works. Hey Pops, is this thing on? Hey, there it is. Okay, let me check. Let's do 19, I guess. We could do... Oh, this one. Let's load this one up. We'll pause it immediately once it starts. There you go. Pause it. Let me check if this actually worked. Oh my god, it actually worked. At least on YouTube. I think it worked on Twitch as well. Oh my god, multi-streaming. Amazing. It seems like the bitrate might be better today, because at least YouTube is not shouting about really low bitrate. So my bitrate at first was like 3,500. Then YouTube was like, you should set it to 14,000. I was like, okay, 14,000 is a bit high. So I set it to 4,500. I think I might have set it even higher now. Yeah, it's at 4,500 now. And now YouTube is no longer shouting about it. So I guess they didn't actually want 14,000. I guess 4,000 was enough. I also need to check if my chat is actually working. Oh, now it's telling me my bitrate is too low again on YouTube. And it's once again telling me I should use 14,000 kilobit per second. If I actually do 14,000 kilobit per second, then yeah, I could stream it like 2K or something. But then a lot of people couldn't watch. I don't actually know if my YouTube stream supports like multiple bitrate. Or rather multiple resolutions. Like I know Twitch does. Like I know on Twitch, of course, you can select it lower than source if you're a partner. I think affiliate as well. I think because if I'm affiliate, I think you can also have multiple resolutions. I don't know how that works on YouTube. I don't know if on YouTube you also need to be like a partner or something. But then again, I am a YouTube partner, so I guess you could select multiple resolutions or something. I don't know. Chat might be working. Welcome to stream, Mary Wolfie, and it is indeed working. Interestingly enough. Okay, so I've just done something differently for my webcam setup today. So as I might have told you guys before, I am using a prompter and I have my chat on the prompter so I can look straight at the camera while I'm reading chat. So I'm reading chat right now. It doesn't look like it, but my chat is directly on the webcam. So yeah, the problem is before then is I was multi-streaming using a OBS plugin that like linked my YouTube to my OBS. But by doing that, the actual OBS multi-chat didn't show YouTube. It only showed Twitch. So then I threw that plugin out. I now got the actual Stream Elements plugin that also does the multi-chat. So now my multi-chat is also doing the multi-stream at the same time. And now the multi-chat actually works with me showing it on my prompter. So now I can actually read both YouTube and Twitch from my prompter instead of having to awkwardly look around the screen everywhere to get all of the different chats. So that's good. That's an improvement. At least it should be. Oh god, I haven't gotten a YouTube comment yet, so I don't actually know. Well, once I get a YouTube comment, I know. So as far as my team is concerned, this is going to be probably my standard team. I just have a Chilika, Otherwise, everyone else is like multi-ascended. I have A2 Mami, I have A3 Homura somehow. I don't know how I got that. Because I think I only rode like once or twice on the actual like Homura banner. But then she spooked me multiple times on the, I think it was the Mikazuki banner because I wanted Tsuruno. I think she spooked me like twice or something on there. And then I got an A1 and an A2 Pluvia. And I think magic level-wise they're also pretty high up. They're all on 110. Mami is on 107 because I kept giving the forest orbs to other people. Hey, cool kid, what's going? And yes, multi-chat is indeed working for both Twitch and YouTube now. That is perfect. Oh man, that's gonna make it so much easier. Yeah, I gave all my forest orbs to Sana and Kaede. Because, to be honest, is it really that important for Mami to be all the way at 110? I think it's not quite as important as my Kaede being able to actually heal the group, and my Sana actually able to protect the group. So that's why I basically gave everyone the forest orbs, and now Mami doesn't have any forest orbs to get to 110. Same with the dark orbs and Kirika, because Homura ate all of them. I'm sorry. And Felicia also. Like Felicia and Homura, they just ate all of them. So now there's none left for Kirika. I'm sorry. Mami left for change. Welcome to the stream as well. Fate. I also have a lot of other characters that are doing pretty well. By the way, as far as level 100 are concerned, there's not that many people that are level 100 yet. Like I know all of my 5 stars level 100. I know all of my 4 stars are probably shows better like this. So all of my 5 stars are got level 100, and then I have a bunch of 4 stars that are also level 100, or at least like level 30 or 50 or something like that. So I have a lot of stuff, and I have enough experience banked right now to give everyone, anyone, a level 100 right now. So I'm going into tower, and if in tower I figure out that, for example, oh man, I really need a Rico, for example, I really need a Rika right now, then I have enough materials to just instantly push someone to level 100. And I also have enough materials to put a bunch of levels in this, but not for fire, because fire orbs just got eaten up. But I think for other characters, yeah, I can push them to level 59 immediately if I needed to. So I have enough resources to go into this, and yeah, everyone level 100. I also have Team Kamore, like all of them, which means that I'll be able to go double sustain with Kirika and Kaede, which is insane. I think if you go Kirika and Kaede, you literally become immortal, like nothing can kill you anymore. Basically just win the game. But then I also have Reina. I have Reina and Iroha for double breaking, which basically means I'm going to break everyone immediately as soon as the battle starts, so that's kind of overpowered. And I have Momoko as well as like a side grade to Homura. Well, not quite a side grade, but at least someone who I can use if an enemy is like highly resistant to dark. So if there's an enemy that like takes no damage from Homura, it's okay. I got Momoko. She even ate a rainbow orb already, so she's doing pretty fine. Okay, so my XP for character. On one hand, I kept using the refills for QP, specifically for experience. And secondly, I have the both Exedra passes. So if you have the Exedra pass, both of them even, you actually gain more drops. That has always been the case, but they forgot to kind of have like show it up in here. So now it actually shows up in here since the last patch that yes, you do actually get double the drops in here if you have both Exedra passes. Hardest thing in Taos Blog and crossplay current team? I hope so. But even if not, I have many other characters that I can like side grade switch onto if I need to. Like it's not like I have to play this specific team. I could swap Sana with Kirika, for example. I have so many characters. I can even swap in my Yachio in there. No problem on anything here. Yeah, this should make it very easy. Very easy. Come on, what could possibly go wrong with this? This would be a very simple way. Okay, so I think we can just go. I don't think there's actually that much to worry about because, like I said, it's not going to be that hard. I will need to make sure of one thing though. I will see if I can look at the information for every single enemy that we fight. Because I'm going to make a guide on this, at least I'm going to try to make a guide on this, and in order to do the guide, I kind of want to have every single enemy's ability, like their mechanics, show up on screen. But since you cannot redo stages unless you like waste one of your retries, I mean, I know you can end the retry by failing, but since it's not that easy to just retry every stage multiple times, I'm going to make sure that I actually go and check out all of the characters' abilities in here. I'm planning to get Sayaka. Nope, I have Kirika, so, and if you have Kirika, there's not really any reason to get anything else. That's not good enough. for most people, I feel like if you already have a Kirika or even a Sana, there's not really much reason to get a Sayaka. Unless you like Sayaka as a character, of course. I mean, that is above all. Like, if you like a character, that's above all. So basically, I'm doing this now on every single stage. Which, by the way, if you're going through this as well, you should also do this on every single stage that where you have any issue with, where you just look at all the enemies and look at their skills and see what they can do. Like, oh, they just do some basic stuff. Wow. Interesting. Wow. Amazing. Next layer. So apparently there's 30 floors, which I only think like the last 5 might be any difficulty at all. Also, can we, by the way, take a look at the surroundings, because we are indeed in the Mirror Labyrinth, and I think it actually looks much better than the one in Migrate Record, simply because in 3D there's so much cool stuff you can do with your surroundings. And I mean, the one in 2D in Migrate Record also already looked really good, but it still feels different if it's 3D, you know? But that's just me. Last 5 felt a little harder than what I got in Nightmare. Ooh, I hope so, because Nightmare almost feels easy at this point. Okay, what do we have here? I'm just going through it like once, just so I have it like recorded, and then I'm gonna go through it later in my recording, because right now it doesn't really matter. Welcome everyone, welcome Lazarus, how's it going? I wonder how many people have already done the towers so far. But in case you haven't done tower yet, I'm going to be doing all of them today. And that's what my first prison, or wow. Oh, Gertrude. Okay, I will say one thing. The one thing that they could like improve upon a little bit is if you click next layer, that the music doesn't restart. It would be cool if they could make that happen. They probably can make that happen, that the music doesn't restart if you press next layer, because it's kind of weird that the music keeps restarting all the time. Do people just talk in the chat while autoing? Yeah, I mean the first like the first 20 or so layers, maybe even 25, shouldn't be that difficult, I think. I'm not expecting too much. Yeah, I might like try and make a guide video for like every single one of these that comes out, but to be fair, I don't think I'm going to be making much content on like the first like 25 or so stages of this, because I assume like for every single one of these towers, the first 25 or so layers are going to be entirely trivial, like strategy-wise. Like the strategy for the first 25 layers is always going to be, well, if you can't beat it, you need to level up a bit, or you need more magic level. Like that's going to be the general gist of what happens if you can't beat those stages, right? But then probably only like the last 5 ones are going to be the ones where you actually might have to consider strategies, like maybe you need to swap out characters to other characters or play specific cool strategies or something, I don't know. So yeah, I don't expect too much from these first 20 or so stages. So 10 years of 4-star key, damn! Ah, that would be great. Become tanky after that? Well, I hope they become tanky, because right now they're not even getting a single turn. Get to level 28, my attacker died. Kaide kept me alive. Yeah, just the thing, I have a Kaide in the back pocket, and I have both Kaide and Kirika. And between Kaide and Kirika, I think if you just have those two on your team, right now, no enemy can kill you. Like, there's not even a single boss in all of Nightmare that can kill you if you have a Kirika and Kaide both on your party. With maybe the exception of something like Birdcage or Needle Witch, where they have bounce attacks, like random hit attacks, and it's possible that the random hit attacks like hit Kaide like 7 times in a row or something, like on a single attack, and yeah, okay, I guess in that case you would die. But outside of stuff like that, I don't think there's any way for anything to kill you. 23 and 24 might need specific targeting. Ooh, good thing I'm playing on manual. This is also something interesting about the Nightmare battles, is that there were some problems with the normal battles. Like there were some normal battles in Nightmare that were harder than the bosses. Like on a lot of the, I think Silver Witch, for example, I think Silver Witch itself wasn't that difficult. Like I first tried it very easily, but I think I died multiple times. Like I straight up wiped multiple times on the ads before then, because they would get like 5 turns in a row and just kill one of my guys immediately. Okay, I guess I'm just dead. I guess I'm just dead. Yeah. At least it's good to know that the regular stages, the regular stage of enemies are not always just complete pushovers, right? But there are actually some stages that are kind of difficult. Because otherwise it would be kind of boring if you would just be auto-battling between every single boss for like 20 stages or something. Where's the better boss music? What Poke is after Needle Witch? Well, personally, I think it's Needle Witch. And the reason why is because this is streamer mode. And on streamer mode, well, Poke has no music. But Needle Witch does. Because Needle Witch boss music is actually specifically created for Exedra. Therefore, it's not copyrighted. So the metal force can be downright nasty. Yep. There's some pretty crazy ones though. By the way, I don't know how many people are noticing this. Maybe you can quite see it, I don't know. There used to be something here on this seat. It's no longer there, on both sides even. There used to be something there. So I had like armrests that would fold down. They were like up here and then they would fold down. And I had them for like 5 years or something, those armrests. But recently, when I was watching myself back when I was streaming, I noticed that I would keep sitting like this with my arms really close together. And I never really noticed that my arms were always really close together because the armrests on the side were like bumping into my like my elbows and my shoulders. So I would always have my hands pretty cramped in here every single day, which is not good. But I just didn't really realize that because, like I said, it was just this is just how you would sit in this chair with the armrests to your side. So then what I did is I got a whole bunch of tools. I got like a safety bit for my screwdriver. I got a specific like a sprocket remover because they had fucking bolts in there, like in a hole or something that you couldn't really get out. And I had to do a whole bunch of stuff to get the armrests out. And eventually, the very last step was to just take a hammer and hammer the fucking thing out. And I basically hammered out both of the armrests, so now they're gone. So now I can actually I can actually move my hands to the side now. Look at that, I can move my hands to the side and I don't have armrests here blocking my arms anymore. Wow, amazing. Okay, what do we have? Regular Agent Ellie. Is it not copyrighted at all, or is it? It's not allowed because it's an Exedra original song. So the thing is, I think that the way that this worked is that the original soundtrack for Madoka Magica, of course that one is copyrighted. We can all agree that it makes sense that one's copyrighted because it was part of like an anime production, right? They made it for TV. So of course that one's copyrighted if they're using it, because they are using a lot of those in this game as well. Now for Magia Record music used to not be copyrighted. But at some point, Sony Music, because all of the music that was created for Mario Record is actually owned by Sony Music in a way, even though it wasn't actually made by them, but they own it because like fucking shit, whatever, like legal stuff. And at some point they decide, okay, we're now copyrighting all of the Mario Record music. So now all of the regular Madoka music and all of the Mario Record music is copyrighted. So now they're moving into Exedra. We have both of these soundtracks that are copyrighted, but they made new songs, of course, for Exedra. And the new songs they made for Exedra, well, those are not yet copyrighted. So streamer mode allows you to still play those songs. It's not impossible, though, that at some point in the future, Sony Music once again decides that I'm gonna copyright them again, you know, why not? And then you can't use them again. And then they would probably, and then at that point, streamer mode actually would be entirely silent and you wouldn't hear anything anymore. So that would be funny. I just hit level 70, how hard was it to hit level 100? Do you mean player rank? Because player rank between 70 and 100 is not actually... I wouldn't say it's that difficult, because you just go through battle mode, you go through nightmare mode, the early stages. So the early stages of nightmare mode and most stages in battle mode are not really that difficult, so you actually do increase in level really quickly. When you're talking about the character though, like my Homura for example, between 70 and 100, you will need to use a lot more experience. Like the experience points required per level go up quite hard. I think like the experience points required to go from 80 to 100 is about as much as to go from 1 to 80. It goes up pretty steep. That's because of using Madoka's God tier music. That is true. But I made sure that I have something else. So let's say for example this was muted because it's copyrighted or whatever. Then I have other music I can play. Okay, but that's just in case. Like I already have it like open on my second screen, just in case I need other music. But at least this music right here, also they made specifically for Exedra, which is good. There are other music also work. Yep. I mean, Toho, Undertale, what's the difference, right? Alright. Okay, jokes aside, Toby Fox, the guy who made Undertale, was a really huge Toho fan and still is a really huge Toho fan and cited it as like the main inspiration behind Undertale. Like people thought that the main inspiration was like Earthbound, and it is one of the main inspirations, but the actual number one main inspiration is still Toho. And also just recently he actually collabed with Zun on music tracks for a Toho game, which sounds really good, by the way. And Toby Fox also learned Japanese just so that he can play Toho, by the way. Anyway, as I was saying, they actually made new music specifically for the mirror in here. And the reason why that's interesting is because the mirror labyrinth is from Mage Record. And Mage Record already has mirror music. They already have music for the mirror labyrinth specifically in Mage Record. But that music is copyrighted as fuck. And I guess the people developing this game decided that, you know, since the music for the mirrors, which in Mage Record is copyrighted, maybe we should make our own, so that people can actually play this on stream and not have this entire segment here be quiet and silent even. Because that would suck. That would suck if this entire game mode was quiet on streamer mode, so or silent even. So yeah, it's good that they made their own music, so now it's actually not copyrighted, we can actually listen to it, and it's great, and it's fantastic. You have an A4 Ren that you built, jumping against the Needle Witch Nightmare, I was stuck, yeah. Ren is actually insanely good against Needle Witch. Like it almost surprised me, just how good she actually is against Needle Witch. Because the thing is, Needle Witch is actually weak to... it's actually weak to Void. And I think she doesn't have that much defense. Actually, no, that wouldn't even matter, right? Yeah, I don't think that would even matter. Yeah, Needle Witch just generally takes a lot of damage from Void. Like, she's very weak to Void damage. So Ren, being a Void character, just absolutely demolishes them. I don't actually know if I checked the abilities of that guy. It doesn't matter. They're all the same here. They're like 11 prison orbs from the tower. I can tell you it's actually exactly 10, because if you do all of if you do all of the tower, it's 10 prison orbs, 10 for all of them. And then you can get another 6 from the next event that just started. So that new event shop, in case you haven't looked at the event shop, it has 6 prism orbs in it. And once again, by the way, welcome everyone who has joined the stream in the meantime. And all the people that have been joining. That's really nice to see. It's good to know that when new content happens and when new stuff happens, the people are there for it. This is like the one thing that I find kind of weird when it comes to like Hoyo games. Like when it comes to streams, of course, when a new patch comes out and people are streaming and like for example a new Genshin patch or a new Starblade patch, of course people are there for it. But in like the communities that I'm in, Specifically, I don't need to dance around it. In the Exedra server, our Hoyo channels usually don't talk that much about new content because people usually talk about like data mined content for future patches. And it feels like people are talking more about data mined content for future patches than they are talking about the current patch. And I'm gonna be honest, that kind of irritates me a bit. But at least when it comes to Exedra, people are actually talking about the current patch. Oh, this looks simple. I think this boss is gonna spawn ads. Right? Because it doesn't really do anything. Yeah, this is supposed to spawn ads. Surprised how fast they're rolling out content. They were ready. Oh, they were absolutely ready. They took that extra time they got from the delay and they went to the mines. Because you know what they say. They yearn for the mines. That's the ads. Isn't that supposed to spawn ads? Because he's about to die soon. Then again, people aren't allowed to talk about data mine content in Exedra anyway, so if you did try to talk about data mine content for Exedra, you would get banned. Okay, I'm gonna let the boss do something here just to see. There we go, I told you it was gonna summon ads. Yeah, it's regular Dark & Switch boss fight. Bonk. By the way, when it comes to the skip, I know the skip button is down here, but you can press anywhere on the right side of the screen. Like the entire right side of the screen is now the skip button. And the reason why they did that is because I think people were complaining that we're playing on mobile, that you would have to move your thumb really far up the screen to press the skip button and then down again. Because the buttons for your specials at the bottom of the screen, so you press the bottom screen and then you would have to move to the top of the screen with your thumbs. So instead they made it so you can just press the right side of the screen with your thumb to skip the animation. Okay, we're halfway through already. Well, I guess it's going pretty fast. So the thing about Dark & Switch is that all of these ads are getting stronger, and the boss as well gets stronger. The more enemies are currently alive. So as soon as even just one of them dies, they get quite a lot weaker. This skips if you tap the O spot. Yeah, it should be like, this is like the top of where you can press it. That's where the O button was. 5-star keystones. So we already had 12 of those 5-star keystones. I don't know how many we're getting from this one. Nice. Flash 60 is already stronger than your formation. You gotta go to the mines and gotta grind. Oh my god, it feels so good being able to actually move my arms around. Jesus Christ. I don't know how I've been spending like 4 years not being able to move my arms to the side. What the fuck was I smoking? We get 4 more, so that means we're at a total of 16. And if the another event also gives 12 again, then we're still off from a 5-star. I will say it feels kind of weird that we're getting so few Magica stones, but at the same time, with the keys, we're getting free 5-stars. It feels really weird. Like I enjoy free 5-stars. I mean, free 5-stars are great. Everyone loves free 5-stars. But you pay for it by not getting that many Magica stones, and that feels weird. It feels really weird. Also, I need to mention something. I have, as I said, I've been multi-streaming now on Twitch and YouTube. And it's a good thing I did, because I have been seeing other streamers talk about this. Like I myself haven't been really streaming more than like a day in the last 4 or 5 years or whatever. Like for a really long time I haven't been streaming. But everyone's basically saying like, hey, if you can multi-stream, you must. Not just you should, you must. Because nowadays, people are spread not just on one platform. Like people are not just on YouTube and not just on Twitch. People nowadays are on multiple platforms. And when it comes to streams, some people only watch you on YouTube. Some people only watch you on Twitch, right? And you cannot really know beforehand how many on either of those platforms. You can only like guess how many are going to watch on either of those platforms. So instead, you just stream on both, and you just see what happens. And you can combine all of those no matter how many you have on which platform. And I can tell you right now, on Twitch, I have like 5 viewers or something. Does it even show? I have like 5 viewers on it. It doesn't actually show right now. I don't know. It should be like 5 viewers. But on YouTube, it's like 50. So that's a pretty big difference. But you might also look at that and say, wait a second, if you have like 10 times more viewers on YouTube, why don't you only stream on YouTube? But that doesn't work. Because you need to grow your empire in all directions at once. Because if you're only on YouTube, you're not going to be able to find anyone on Twitch, right? Like maybe someday you're going to find a lot of people on Twitch. You don't know. Maybe just slowly over time I'm going to build more people on Twitch. You never know. So if you can stream on both platforms, why wouldn't you do it? So I think everyone should do that. That said, it's not like I'm trying to like make this a career, because I have a full-time job that's paying decently well, and the money that I'm making like off YouTube is nothing, like actually nothing. So it doesn't really matter. But just saying, if you were someone, like to all the people out there, if you're someone who wants to make streaming your job, stream everywhere you can with multi-streaming, and don't think about it twice. Just do it. If you like we want to save stones for banner skills you really want, giving you a surplus of the standard banner or feeding you all banner skills to standard. Yep, that I think seems to be like the idea behind it. That you just save specifically for limited characters, and then you get like 3 5 stars or whatever from the standard banner that slowly grows over time as well. Even so, I think they should give us more Magicka stones, because you get like basically nothing. 10 gem per floor is a little too little to give 100 gem per floor. Absolutely. And I think they are going to increase that at some point, because they are getting feedback, they're listening to feedback, they have talked about what they're going to do, how they're going to improve the game, and they kept mentioning stuff that we've talked about, like, oh, we're not getting enough prism orbs. And then they have increased the prism orbs we're getting, and now we're actually getting a shit ton of prism orbs, and that's really good. And now the event shops, in case you haven't checked it out, the event shops have a lot more stuff in it compared to before, so they're also increasing the amount of stuff that's in the event shops. So they're now giving us more stuff, and the next step, I hope, is more Magicka stones. Honestly, if they want to be cheapskate, I think 30 gems per floor is a good compromise. Even that I think would be a bit too low, but yeah, I guess they could do that. It took a break from Exedra. Next thing I know, Psycho came out. Yeah, they're releasing these guys really fast. What just giving up and saying for Nagisa? Aw. What do you mean lose to Ascension 2 Ren? Ascension 2 Ren is great. Probably more important than whatever you're running for, I think. Because A2 Ren is really good. Like, A2 Ren is pretty good. Even Japanese people are also not okay with this Jimmy Ward, I think. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they're not okay with it. Okay. This witch I know is going to summon a lot of ads. But it's interesting that the boss doesn't start out with ads, because usually they start with ads. Because now they're actually giving me time to buff myself. Pog pog. Do we even need to worry about the ads? Oh, they're getting absolutely schmacked now. Okay, we have to wait with this. Now do it. I was waiting for the turn to tick over so that my Homura can get another follow-up attack. Otherwise I wouldn't have gotten it. Okay, so that was slot 20, I think? 30 is a good compromise, because at the end of the day, when I give people, they want people to spend money, and if they're too generous, they want to be able to earn money. 10 Magicka stones is too low. 10 Magicka stones is absolutely too low, but I think 30 is also too low. I don't think it would give you that much income, because I think Tower is supposed to be like the big income, right? I guess in Hoyo games, for example, like this sort of monthly content is usually like the biggest way of getting like a huge load of new stuff. And while you do get a lot of prism orbs and other materials, Magicka stones you get still, even 30 would be almost nothing. They could add missions like beat this many floors and you get this much more extra stuff. But it would be the same if instead of missions they would just add those rewards to the actual stages themselves. Playing Towers is scared of Nightmare mode. The end of Tower is apparently harder than Nightmare mode. If you can beat the tower, you get 1 pull, which is, come on. I think like completing the weekly content in any of the Hoyo games is like half a 10 pull. It's like 5 pulls or something in any of those games. So that's a big difference. Have I been checking these guys' abilities? I don't actually remember if I did. Whatever. Sayaka vs Multi, congratulations, Savi. Enjoy one of the best tanks in the game right now, who's going to help you kill bosses really fast. Just don't use Sayaka against Birdcage Witch, because here's the interesting part about Birdcage Witch. The counter-attack from Sayaka gives the Birdcage Witch stacks of attack up, which, that's gonna hurt. Thank you for Monica videos. Hey, thank you for watching them. Your information helped me improve my account so much. I'm glad that I was of help. That's the one reason why I'm doing it. There was the same thing in my record where there was a lot of people not really sure how to improve their team and how to get further in the game. And usually I'll tell them, just pay money, lol. No, and I've made some videos about characters to tell them what characters to roll for and what not to roll for. And how important in PvP, for example, blast characters were. And I made a video that showed off like, hey, if you have just a 0 slot, or like a 1 slot rather, Anime Yachio would just have a 100% win rate in mirrors, which would be kind of busted. And that's very helpful. Is Sayaka good? I don't plan to pull for just asking. I would say Sayaka is like a side grade to the other 2 tanks right now, right? Like you have Sayaka, you have Kirika, and you have Sana. And they all do different things. I would say that generally Sana is the worst one of those. But if you were to compare Sayaka and Kirika, Kirika is better to defend other characters. Like Kirika keeps other people alive much better than Sayaka does. And like reduces damage and reduces speed by enemies, like has a lot more utility in that sense. And on top of that, allows you to use more specials, because Kirika gives you MP bonuses, and those MP bonuses help you spam those specials out really fast. And that is a really nice thing to have, to be able to spam specials really hard. So Kirika is extremely powerful in that sense. And how that compares to Sayaka, Sayaka is not as good as defending the team, because her overall damage reduction that she grants the team is just not as high as Kirika's or even Sana's damage reduction. But on the flip side, Sayaka has the special effect of like buffing your team's special damage. So once the boss is broken and you're actually pulling out the big damage, Sayaka buffs the damage of your attacker to kill the enemies. And that may be helpful. That may be really good. So I would say that Sayaka generally is better for actually killing enemies once they're in break. But before enemies are in break, Sayaka doesn't really protect the party as much, and doesn't give as much benefit to the party as Kirika. So before break, Kirika is much better, and after break, Sayaka is better. In most cases. I mean, there are cases where Kirika still gives you like more specials during break. But at least that's the general idea behind them. Sayaka is like a support temp on a pure tank. Like generally, I actually think that Kirika is better at supporting the party, because I think Kirika's like MP generation bonus I think is more powerful than the special attack bonus from Sayaka. But pure numbers wise, Sayaka would be better for that. I mean, Sayaka also reduces enemy resistance, although right now that's bugged. Like right now, Sayaka's resistance doesn't actually work. A resistance down doesn't actually work, so that's fun. Right now she's actually bugged. And I hope you guys are getting, hope everyone is getting Apollo gems for that. You better get Apollo gems for that. Do you find it so random that Sayaka's defender? It makes the most sense. It makes the most sense because she dashes forward and takes the hits. Everyone else does a really good job of just evading hits or taking care of themselves, or like not taking damage, but Sayaka like goes in full speed, into the boss, takes all of the hits on top of her, and doesn't care because she's Sayaka. That's basically the idea behind it. So it makes the most sense for her to be defender. Yeah, rather have the more durable defense. Yeah, personally, I'm sticking with Kirika even if I had Sayaka. But Sayaka is okay. She's fine. Sayaka is like a bruiser type character. Yeah, but bruiser type characters fit really well into defender role as well. I'm missing the wounds. Even though I have the ailment resistance down, up. Ailment hit rate up. Portraits. If anything, I want Sayaka more than Sana more than Sayaka from just her assist skill alone. Yeah, the assist skill from Sana is really good, and you definitely not sleep on it, because the assist skill from Sayaka, I mean, it's alright, but it's not as good as the one from Sana, I think. I think Kirika's assist skill is also pretty good. Sayaka defender makes more sense. Margaret with defending Iroha, yeah, that also comes from that. You would like the more shields more from Fushuan, or how do you pronounce it? Fushuan, or something like that, from Stariel, a pure tank that can self-heal. I can see that, but I'm not sure if Sayaka specifically is the one for that. I think there might be another character who might be better for that specific style. I'm not sure who though. But yeah, generally the idea would make sense that she was more like Fushuan. Be more Kirika Glaze, or people sleep on her. I don't think that many people sleep on her, but yeah, she's really good. She's the best defender, personally. But you can argue that Sayaka is like a side grade to her. Sayaka isn't as great because it's aqua locked. Yeah, those ones are kind of weird. Then again, you would probably want to use it on defenders? No, actually not. It's kind of weird. So by the way, Fushuan, the way she works in Star Rail is that she has a passive aura. Okay, not passive, you need to use a skill point to activate it. But once you activate it with a skill point, you basically give an aura to the entire team, where whenever anyone takes damage, most of that damage is actually redirected to Fushuan instead. So let's say, for example, Mami were to take 1000 damage, like 650 or like 700 of that would actually get redirected to Sayaka if Sayaka had that ability, for example. And Sayaka would take the damage instead. And then Sayaka would have the self-heal ability to heal herself back up, like Fushuan can then heal herself. That's basically the idea. And yeah, I would say that kind of makes sense a little with Sayaka. Slow speed is a pain on the ass. Yeah, oh, isn't every defender like really slow? Like even Sayaka is like 84 speed or something. Class support, beta element support? Most of the time, yes. And yeah, it's really good that they made their own theme for the mirrors here, because otherwise we would not be able to actually listen to it. Also, I haven't pointed this out, but you can see in the background, while we've been climbing the tower in this mirror labyrinth, the mirror labyrinth has actually been done a good job living up to its name, because in the background you will see images of the labyrinth that we're currently like reflecting, showing off. Like right now we're in Albertine's labyrinth. It actually shows Albertine's labyrinth in the background, and it has been showing the background for every single witch labyrinth that we've been reflecting into in the background the entire time, and I think that's really cool. It's like a really nice touch. Every friend is over, they also have a 50 speed buff in turn 1. Yes, that is true. Does Kirika not have that? Hold on. Oh, it doesn't show that like here. I think she does, right? Yeah, 50% speed. Okay, 50% is not as good as 50 in this case. Just a little bit of it at least. I wonder if you actually will see repeat characters with different sets. Oh yeah, absolutely. We already have that with Madoka. And we know that they're going to do that with other characters as well. Because why wouldn't they? Like, Homura is going to have like 10 different versions of her. Probably. Because it's Homura, of course she does. Like, we're also going to get a Kyoko that has Rosso Phantasma. Like, guaranteed. There's going to be a Rosso Phantasma Kyoko. We all know it. Oh, say enemy heal, to be honest, Octavia is way harder than Wapoges, not because at least Wapoges can't heal. Depends on the team. I actually think that Octavia was really easy. But my team was also extremely aggressive, and aggressive teams eat Octavia for lunch. Dual units, I don't know. I'm gonna have to be a down on this, because I don't actually know if we're gonna get dual units. Because right now every single character, like every single Kyoku, is based on a character. This Kyoku belongs to this character. And how do you have that system work out with duo units if every Kyoku has to belong to one character? I don't know how that's gonna work out. That's gonna see ultimate units, absolutely. Also, Madoka may also be an anniversary character. That seems likely, although I don't know if we're gonna get it for first anniversary because that seems a bit soon. Kokoro actually best in order to show off 4-star teams. Kokoro is pretty good actually. They'll put SE system back in. We have SE system right in. That's Magic Release. Like Magic Release is basically that system. Yeah, like how would Hardfire work for you? Like that's kind of weird. It's not impossible. They could like have a special system for duo units. But at least as far as the system is concerned right now, it doesn't work. Our team died to hair something. This is the nightmare version of the our team, because every single witch actually has a nightmare version that also looks different. Also, we missed again. Come on, just hit it. Does he not have the aim? He does have inland rate up and it's still missing. That's just sad. Oh, I would love to get double versions. Double versions would be really good. In Tower we fight the nightmare versions, it seems like it, at least for these few stages we're on right now. We're entering uncharted waters for new characters since all of the ones shown in the league are now out. Anyways, who will next? I think Mabe. I think it makes the most sense for the Neis to be next, like the Amane twins, because they're in the game already. Like they have models and animations and attacks, and they even have specials. They already have specials. Like they're basically in the game already. They just have to like unlock them. So I'm pretty certain they're next afterwards. Screw you, come home. Okay, now it's time to do this. Don't stun, please. Good. Just okay. Can we just hit the wound, please? We still didn't hit the wound. What the fuck, man? How we still hit the wound? That is insane. One double a second ultimate skill. I don't know how they would do that though. Like it's not impossible, but I wonder how they would do that. Keep in mind that doubles only exist in the Manga Record universe, and this game takes place like between universes, so you have to like make up a reason on how people outside of the Manga Record universe would get doubles, unless you specifically say this is only for Manga Record versions of the characters. Like you have a Manga Record version of a character, and then only that one actually has the ability to do that. I think we still didn't hit a single wound. You need to up your game, man. Come on. Wonder if when we get more 3 and 4 stars. I think we will get 3 more and 3 4 stars soon after this. So now that all of the like standard characters have been put in the game, I think now is the time to add more 3 and 4 stars. Like it makes sense at least, right? Like it makes sense that now that we're done with like the first batch of characters, then now we're moving into the second batch of characters where anything is possible. Expect to do something like the 1 to 5 action system includes a double at like 10 to 12, 20 stacks. Possible. Like I said, they couldn't really do that for all characters. They have to figure something out in that regard. In the rebellion move, I think Sayaka go into a witch form. That is like something different though. Like that is not over, but I get where you're coming from. Is Ren generally better debuff than Felicia? Absolutely. Like in PvE? Absolutely. Generally, I wouldn't use Felicia in PvE. I mean, you can, but it's way too random. Like, it's really random on if she's gonna be good or not. And by the way, as you can see, Ren actually gets stacks from Kirika's reflect. So Kirika's reflect actually triggers Ren's passive for stacks. On own or allies attack to wounded enemy, and that includes Kirika's reflect, which is funny, because it's not actually an attack in that sense. Kako Foster? Kako Foster's gonna be a healer or a buffer? That's my guess. I think when we have Foster Kako, we have to have it. So it's either gonna be healer or buffer on Kako. Any predictions for movie 4? I hope it doesn't come out. I hope they actually cancel it. I mean this by the way, I actually do hope they don't do movie 4, because I feel like the chance of movie 4 like leaving everyone with a bad taste in their mouth for the rest of the entire Madoka franchise is really high. Like, Rebellion was insanely good. Like, if you say, oh, Rebellion was the final Madoka movie, everyone would know, oh, at least they went out on a bang, right? I would love to be able to say, Madoka went out on a bang. But now with the next movie, there's actually a chance that Madoka doesn't go out on a bang, and instead it goes out on a confusing whimper. And that would suck. Oh yeah, but my guess generally for what happens in movie 4 would be that either a familiar or a wraith of Homura like drains the abilities of all of the different characters. Like it drains Sayaka's wound healing ability, which is why she's in bandages, and it drains Mami's ribbons, which is why she's not using ribbons. It drains Kyoko's whatever the fuck. It drains Homura's time stone, which is why she can't just stop her or whatever. And then this thing like grows into an amalgam of magical girl characters, which is the one character we saw in the... Because there was a character that also looked like Homura, that in another screen looked like Mami, for example, and it's kind of weird that there's a character that looks a little like Homura, and then there's also a character that looks a little like Mami, and I think it's the same character. And I think that character then absorbs a whole bunch of more magic and then grows into Walpurgisnacht. And then with Homura's magic of time travel, goes back in time to basically become the Walpurgisnacht. I think that's basically the gist behind what's happening there. What would my best ending be for movie 4? The thing is, I don't know how... I don't know what the answer to that would even be. What would the best ending be? I think whatever I come up with wouldn't be like the best thing. So I can't tell you, I don't know. I just hope it ends in such a way that people have something positive to talk about for many years, and not a, oh my god, I can't believe they did something this stupid. Because that would be the worst. Alicia A2 is pretty strong. She is serviceable enough as a damage dealer. Yeah, there are some characters that have such high attack that they can actually double as a damage dealer. Ren too. But in such an open end though? Yeah, and that's good. But the thing is, Ren still ties up as many loose ends as is necessary for it to like be in a good spot, I was gonna say. Like, there's not that many loose ends that Rebellion are opened up that needed to be answered. That needed to be known. You can say, oh, but I need to know how it continues from here. But it's also okay not to. It's also okay to just say, okay, all of those chapters are now over. A chapter has concluded. We don't need to know what the next chapter is for everything that came before this to be like wrapped up in a nice little bow. In my opinion, at least. See, we're not seeing this series after the movie. I hope not. Like was movie 4 I'm making so far? The weird part is no one knows exactly, but I think about maybe like 5 years. Hey Beijing, welcome as well to the stream. Weren't Rayfuck animated? I still have yet to read that. You just spicy macro anime when compared to the game story, it is night and day different. It is very much different, and but I've said this multiple times, I prefer the anime story for my record much more than the game story. Much more than the game story. Can't wait for more to come to Exedra, saving for at the moment. I'm tempted to make a multi-Margaret plan and get a patch here. I don't know when she's gonna arrive, but I kind of doubt that Momoda would be a good character. Actually, I assume like she's gonna be maybe even a 4-star, or just not a good character, because it's Momoda. Like, she's not supposed to be strong, right? She's not supposed to be a good character. So it would be kind of weird if she was. Let me reorder this one. There you go. This one first. Like I've made, when the anime came out for Manga Record, I did multiple videos where I basically compared each episode from the anime with the corresponding chapter in the game, and I basically found like, wow, the game actually improved so many things from the game story in so many different aspects that in the game story were absolute fucking bullshit and were just bad, like just bad. And it's really interesting just how much better the writing is in the anime if you compare it side by side to the writing of the game. A lot of people don't really have that comparison of have like this next to each other, because most people have like this idea in their head of what the story is from the game without knowing the actual details of it. Like a lot of details people like sleep on when they just think about what the game was, like what the story was in their head. But if you actually go back and you actually look at the story beat for beat, you will see like, oh my god, there's so much random dumb shit in the game's story that makes no goddamn fucking sense and it's just terrible. And then you look at the exact same detail in the anime and you're like, wow, the anime actually like really improved this, like the anime is actually way better in this respect, what the fuck? And yeah, this is why a lot of people kind of sleep on that. But I went through it with a fine-tooth comb and I can tell you definitively that the anime story is much better than the game story. Like much better written, I mean, like narratively it just is much better. Of course you can disagree that you wanted it to go in a different direction. You can say, oh, I didn't want it to go in the direction with so many characters dying. And yeah, I agree that that might not be what you wanted. I agree with that. But just if we're talking about like, as a story, how good of a story is it? I think anime is much better. Much better. You didn't like Iroha visiting random memories you found from the phone book? Dude, I could tell stories of the amount of dumb, bad writing that happens in the game. Okay, so here's, for example, can you just imagine, how would you introduce a new character like Tsuruno to the story, right? You need Iroha to find Tsuruno. And you also need Iroha to find information on the, the rumor of the Seion Shrine, right? You want information on the Seion Shrine, and you need to introduce Tsuruno. So in the anime, the way they do it is, of course, Iroha knows Momoko and Team Kamore, and they know Mitama. So she knows those people. And of course, she talks to them about needing more information and about other characters, like just people, just the city, just general topics. And someone mentions like, hey, if you're a magical girl in the city, maybe you want to go and take a look at this Bambansai restaurant, because Bambansai restaurant might help you out. So just go over there. There's a magical girl that is like working there. So Iroha goes over to Bambansai, and they talk to Tsuruno there and find out, oh, she actually knows Yachio, who I met before, and like, okay, that's how we introduce that character. And then they're like, okay, I need info on the Seion Shrine, and then Tsuruno gets more info on the Seion Shrine, and they like figure it out together. They like team up to find more info on the Seion Shrine. It works pretty nicely. There's like, you can see how one scene leads to the next and how one scene sets up the next, and it's like one flowing story. It makes sense. You know what happened in the fucking game? A lot of people forgot about this, but you know what happened in the fucking game? Iroha just doesn't ask anyone about the Seion Shrine, just sets out into the town, into the city, runs around the city, asks random passerbys, do you know anything about the Seion Shrine? And they go, what the fuck are you talking about? And she doesn't find anything out in like a day. And then at the end of the day, it like is about to turn night, and the sun is going down, and she just stands in the middle of the fucking road and just shouts, can't anyone help me about the Seion Shrine? And Tsuruno comes around the corner. And he's like, did someone say Seion Shrine? Hello, I'm Tsuruno, I work at a restaurant. I also want to look about the Seion Shrine. That is what happens in the game. I'm not kidding you. This is what happens in the fucking game. You want to tell me that's good writing? That is such insanely bullshit writing. I can't fucking believe this. They actually wrote that. The anime is so much better in that regard. Holy shit. Oh my god, go back and actually go scene by scene on what happens in the game, because the game is insane in how stupid it is in so many cases. Like it's, oh my god. I'm working myself up just thinking about it. Holy shit. It's supposed to be comedic. It's bullshit. It's just bullshit. And this shit happens at multiple times. There's multiple places where stuff like that happens. The anime parents the entirety by out to dooming everyone. And I think that's good. It's good. Yuha makes an ass of that to Mitsuruno. Yep. The price of right to fill mission space versus getting to the point and meaning in a full and good way. Yeah. There was another part like this where, so they're in the chapter of Endless Solitude with the Sana chapter. They're trying to get into Endless Solitude, which they find out is a website, and it takes them a really long time to figure out how to get to that website. Okay, so they spend all of that time finding the website, and they finally find the website. And you're like, okay, we've gone through most of the chapter. We've gone for like 2/3 of the chapter now, just finding that website. But we finally were able to uncover it. Let's go into that website. And then the website pops up, and in order to enter it, you need a password. And you're like, why did we just go through 2/3 of this entire chapter to find the website, only for the website to need a password? Because now we need to find the fucking password as well. Oh my god. But here's the weird part. They say that we need the password. They then get a phone call from Momoko. Momoko is on the phone and it's like, hey guys, I found a password just randomly lying around. Did you guys need a password? Are you guys do you guys just happen to be in the need of a password because I found one? What was the point of that? Why would you have this entire scene of just there being a password required, just to have a phone call coming in from Momoko? It's like, I got the password, I got it, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna get over that. I can't get over that. That is just bad writing. That is, because you can tell that they didn't know how to continue the story and they just made shit up. Yeah, in the anime they just didn't have a password, like it just wasn't required. Anyway, as far as the game is concerned, we're just cruising still, and we're close to the end already. Did Crunchyroll actually update the Blu-ray versions? I don't know, but I hope they did. Also, the Blu-ray versions has like more scenes, and like has re-edited and recut the scenes. And I've only seen a couple of scenes, but the anime in Blu-ray version also looks so much better. Like, so much better. I think it's like floor 28 or something, maybe even 29, I don't know. Not 29, but like floor 28. Maybe 27? I don't know. But the Blu-ray also fixes most problems with the animation. Like if you think that the animation had problems, which it did a lot in the anime, the Blu-ray version has fixed most of those issues actually, so it's kind of good. Yeah, that was 28. Now it's 29, which apparently is pretty difficult. Stay hydrated. Oh, look at those debuffs and those buffs. Oh my god. I got messaged. Oh my god, who's messaging me? Hold up. I'm not gonna give people a new Discord role to get pinged whenever an orb releases in the game. Come on. Ouch. Yeah, no, that's bullshit. Yeah, come on, guys, that's bullshit. Oh my god. What are people linking you? Someone got automoted as well. Okay, kick that person. You're gonna see me kick someone live on stream. Awesome, that person is kicked. Bye bye. Only a kick. Yeah. Okay, what do you got? Remember during the start of the pandemic and animations got odd? It was the last episode of season 1 of the Holy Mind Fight. I don't actually know if it was that much about the pandemic because Shaft generally just can't do it. Shaft kind of sucks right now and they have for a while. I don't know what exactly is going on at Shaft, but they just can't do it anymore. Thoughts on Exedra Street Cat with Might Rated thus far? I haven't actually looked at it. I straight up skipped all story and haven't even looked at it. Because I already know the story. And people have told me that it's much more abridged and much less content to it. But yeah, it actually wasn't good. Got the background that only sounds playing. Yeah, that was some weird shit going on in there. Have you watched the Bakemonogatari? I have watched all of Monogatari, apart from the final season. Like, I don't think I've watched all of that. But yeah, I've watched basically all of, like, almost all of Monogatari, the entire series. It's good. It's good. But Monogatari was also a really long time ago. How much magic on my team? Most of these guys are on like 110. Mami is on 107. But yeah, they're basically on 110. Yeah. I think Kamini was originally from Takasaki before the rewrites and stopped only exists in Kamihama, and we see Monoko's Witch Labyrinth. That's a weird thing. So I think it's... So the thing about the Momoko scene, Momoko's Labyrinth scene, is I don't actually think that was supposed to be Momoko's witch. I think that was actually supposed to be Momoko's doppel, but I think it's possible that originally doppels were supposed to have been able to have their own labyrinth. I think that's more likely. That she was supposed to doppel and she was supposed to like have a labyrinth. Oh, hello Buka, you got Sayaka and Tsuno. Congratulations. So you got what you wanted. Sayaka and Tsuno is going to be very helpful to you. Nah, cancel that. Star Wheel could never. Delay that one. Took away the voice lines? Yeah, that's the weird part of Magaraku. It doesn't have voice lines? I don't know why. The actual weird part is gonna be the final boss, because I don't know how well this team actually fights against Sayaka. Against Octavia, rather. This one actually look great, maybe Shark's getting better. I hope they do. They kind of sucked for a while, so I hope they actually get better now. When you break an enemy, would you say it's better to do a Maraka or Homura special first? If Homura's first, you get more meat from another special when you again you get so much break bonus. So I thought about this before as well, so that's a good question there, Bolek. Usually I do Homura special first, because usually it ends up with more Homura specials in the long run. Like usually I get like one more out than I usually do. So most of the time it's better to do that. Most of the time, but not always. But I think like generally I use Homuras first. Sayaka also fun. She does a lot of damage and good shield. Doing with Kirika is insane. Yeah. Generally I wouldn't use two shielders, but she is very powerful. Yeah. Keep saying at 43k, wait for Akuma Homura, yes, yeah. I don't know how close Akuma Homura is gonna be. Like I feel like you might have to wait a few years maybe. Maybe not quite. You look like Twitch IRL. What does that mean? Wait, what does that mean? We're at the end, yep. What I win from this boss? Is it gonna be orbs? Wait, I'm getting orbs for this boss? What do you mean I'm going to get orbs for this boss? 2 actions, bye-bye, By the way, whenever it says it as an ability, like there's a buff or something as an ability, usually that means you cannot cleanse it with like a buff removal. Like if it's an ability, buff removal doesn't work. Same thing for characters. Like if characters get abilities for buff removal, do I have someone that does that? I don't think anyone does. One of these gift buffs. This isn't a buff. Sana, for example, like when Sana crits, she gives the entire team more defense, and that's an ability. Because it's an ability, it cannot be removed with buff removal. At least I think so. I'm not entirely certain, but yeah. What else do we have? I think that it's just regular stuff. Aqua damage. Yeah, seems to be basic stuff. Yeah, I think it's just regular Sayaka fight with maybe a bit better stats. Priscilla is gonna be up and next when you want to beat the game. That is for Rebellion, yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna like actually release her. I feel like it's more likely that they're just gonna do like Rebellion version of Homura, right? Like not Ribbon Homura, but like Witch Homura or whatever like that, like Doppel Homura maybe even, who knows? But not Akuma Homura. I don't think they're gonna release her that easily. Wait, can Aqua come in a few months? Oh, I don't think so. I mean, it's not impossible, but I don't know. Okay, let's see how much it regenerates. About one special for Madoka. Ow. Okay, I would like to have a speed up. Not that much, sadly. Refresh the page since you couldn't see your messages? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, YouTube is kind of shit sometimes. I did clear Octavia in the first time, even though I had A0 Arena. Just annoying every time I heal. Yeah, I actually did Octavia, I give it a nightmare thing without a sustain. Because I just broke her so fast that sustain didn't matter. You want to go into this new 3 or 4 stars? I hope so, I think so. They gotta release in 3 and 4 stars soon, I think. The Harmony Sisters could actually be 4 stars. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I think it's actually possible because they're not supposed to be that strong. And one of them was a 4 star in 3 star even, rather, in Mega Record. So the speed down is actually quite important against her. Well, I was wondering, Rebellion, would the Witch Labyrinth just be a really long Homolili? Or would it be like a Nightmare Ballet and then Homolili? I don't know how that would work. Not sure. Oh, we gotta have you. We gotta have you. I'm not gonna go home without seeing you in Exedra. Yeah, I also don't know why we don't get transformation sequences. I guess they just don't trust the like 2D sequences we got in Mega Record. Because they're like, okay, man, if we gotta do animations, we gotta have it 3D. Because maybe they believe that like those animations have to be 3D and 2D isn't. Like, I don't know why they would think that, but it's possible. And if they do think that it has to be 3D, maybe that's why they didn't want to do it. How excited am I for movie 4? Not that much actually. I actually dread it a lot. I actually dread movie 4 a lot. We save on the budget? I guess? The micro transformations absolutely blow the files of the game. That is true because they're actually like high quality video. We need shield for this. For the MP bonus. You know, it sucks having to use this. The micro transformation absolutely blow the files of the game. Yeah, okay, I already did that, but yeah. If you do it in 3D though, you probably also have like movie files. Like, would you make 3D movie files, or would you actually like have predetermined animations? So that would kind of be weird. Yeah, I think Homer's buffs have already run out. Oh no, wait, oh my god, there's still a few turns. Wait, that is from this. I think we need the attacker buff from Steel. Wait, only 18%, that's not a whole lot. It's gonna run out after this. Okay, so if we do this, we don't have the 2 skill points for Homura. I'd rather have those. Yeah, whatever. And this boss gonna die anyway. Octavia hard in battle? It shouldn't be. Octavia should always be easy, actually. Refresh the speed down. Look at her MP. She's still right back. This guy wants to run a PowerPoint presentation with transformations. Could be funny. Yeah, I guess. Okay, now we can actually buff again with this. We're getting so many turns, there's no way Seika comes out of this alive. Octavia, rather. Is there any way to tell when another turn starts from the score attack they have turn indicators? There sadly isn't. They call it rounds in this game, by the way. There's no way of knowing when another round starts. Micro never had any call-ups? Oh, they had a lot. they had a collab with Monogatari series. Well, it's the same company, so I'm not sure how well that counts. So they had one with Monogatari series, they had one with Nanoha. So they had Nanoha and Fate and someone else from Nanoha in the game as playable characters. And they also had one with Rico. They had Rico in the game. They have Chisato and Takina in there, which means that now we also had another Homura and Madoka in the game. No. So yeah, we had a bunch actually. Dude, this Octavia is stunned forever. Because it also Aniplex? I think so. By the way, you can already click down here even though it doesn't look like it. Because you already have the MP. I'm gonna cancel that Mami ult because we don't need the action advance on Homura right now. Was it dead though? Bam! Nasa! You're really regretting not running for Mami? Don't worry, she's gonna be added to standard pool at the end of May. After the end of May, she's gonna be in the standard pool. And yay, we did it! Woo. Something coinciding with the Ray of remake would be neat. Ooh. By the way, if you do skip, you just get these drops again? That's nothing though. This is basically nothing. What the fuck? Did you break her on her defense up? Yes, I did break her while she had her damage dealt down buff up. So yeah, while she was taking less damage, I did break her. Otherwise, she would have died like half those turns. Oh. I might need to check something. So yeah, I made it extra hard for myself and I still absolutely easy schmacked her around. Oh, all these orbs. Love it. We wanted always a Madoka collab for Sinnoh Alice, but it never happened. Pokemon makes this game. Neonoma was also Aniplex. Sinnoh Alice collab. We could get a Nier collab. So I played Sinnoh Alice for like a month. Sinnoh Alice was not a good game. I'm gonna be honest about it. Sinnoh Alice was not a good game. And you wanna know the reason why? It's because a lot of the game's progression, like a lot of the really good items and good weapons and good characters and everything that you could get in that game, like premium currency that you could get in that game, came from the PvP mode. And with the way the PvP mode worked, it was one of the worst PvP modes I've ever seen. Because the way that worked is you had to set a specific time. Did for Psycha? Nope. I'm gonna do a single 10 roll for Psycha just for you. But first, so the way PvP worked in Sinnoh Alice is you set down a specific hour. Let's say, for example, at 1500, like at 15 o'clock every single day. You say, I want to play PvP at 15 o'clock. So then you and everyone else in your group, in your union, in your guild, had to come together at 15 o'clock. Everyone had to come together at that exact time, no matter what day it was, and every single day you had to come around at that time. And then play a live action PvP, like not live action, like a live PvP, real time, against another guild. Which of course meant that the guilds with stronger accounts on their side and more whales on their side would always, 100% of the time, kill everything else. So you arrive every day at the exact same hour just to get your shit kicked in by whales, and you had to do that to get better drops. Why the fuck would I want to play that game? Why the fuck would I want to play the game where I set myself a time every single day to get my shit kicked in by whales? Jesus fuck. Okay, I'm gonna do a single 10 roll just because why not? This is for you guys out there. This is my 110 roll on the Sayaka because let it be known that I at least tried to get a Sayaka. What am I gonna get? Lou doesn't mean anything by the way. Gum. It's nothing. It is of course nothing. It is absolutely fuck all. Well, that's what I get for betting on Sayaka. Guess Persona Stalker was also Sinnoh Alice. Yep. Well, now considering there's not much else to do besides story mode, I'll figure it out. You just kept getting kicked from clans. Yeah, because clans in Sinnoh Alice only one of the best characters in there. Oh, blue again. Mito, yay! What's often frustrating, but it was fun. You can't imagine how often our hearts were racing. Mine weren't. It was painful. Yeah, the music, don't worry about it. That was some weird shit that happened with my PC. Kush! Woo! Okay, I have every single foster at maximum ascension, so there's nothing more to gain from this, other than, of course, randomly getting a 5-star from that sort of gacha. Okay, look at our shards. We have 16 shards. Yeah, we need 30. Come on. Yeah, we need so many more shards. So Struggle was also nearing reincarnation, so that game's gonna die soon. Okay, let's... Didn't Kush come way into the game's life cycle? Yeah, she was one of the later characters, actually. Okay, let's build up some characters. I'm not gonna do all, because I don't want to give her another orb. Actually, she's not getting a orb from this, because she's missing regular orbs. We are missing so many orbs, mommy. You ended up getting 3 Homonodupes in the same day? I would love to have that sort of luck. Reincarnation is that. Well, that sucks. And then you are getting this. You also need way more orbs. I'm missing regular elemental orbs. Look at that. Like, come on. You have Saika and you from base testing her. She's alright. Saika more like a buffer than a defender. That again, just purely as a buffer, she's not actually that good. Well, at least especially right now, because her resistance down doesn't actually work. Like, it straight up is bugged and it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't do anything. Hey, the thing about Micro Record Japanese server is that it basically lived its full life. Like, Micro Record JP died from old age. It didn't die because it was shit or it wasn't making enough money. It just lived past its you know, allotted lifetime. So I'm not sad about that game ending. Okay, we definitely need to give one to Kaide. No questions asked. Did she just say, don't call me useless anymore? I think that's what you said. I'm getting better at Japanese. Okay, drop one there, so you know it's extremely important. I wasn't listening. Okay, I would like to give one there as well, but we kind of need stuff. Good thing I didn't do my stages yet. Do you think the revenue would be better if they didn't kick out the America server? I mean, overall, yeah, but it wouldn't change. It wouldn't have changed much anyway. Like, they would, the servers would still have died at that similar time, I think. Okay, give me drops, please. Yay. But yeah, FGO lives on. Yeah, because people are stupid. FGO is the proof that your game doesn't need to be good to make money. If people are just thirsty enough. That's kind of the truth. I kind of want to give just one, just the rainbow orb is set in stone, but needs to be some other characters too. Okay, so that was important. What else do we need? So this is fine. Tsuruno needs it because the actual next level of the support ability is kind of important. Because I use her as a support to Mami in PvP. So the Mami support in PvP is actually pretty important. Ran out of stones again. And I think that's it. I'm not going to increase that. Like, there's no reason to increase this, by the way. Because if you're like, hey, I want to use Lux Madoka as a support. This support ability right here doesn't increase with level. Because it says increases break gauge depletion. And level 10, it also just increases break gauge depletion. It doesn't increase with level, it's still the same. So at level 1, this is the exact same strength as a level 10. The only thing that increases is the break effect. And break effect is useless. Break effect is the most useless stat in the entire game. It may as well not exist. So every time you read break effect, just erase that from your brain. This support ability only says increases break gauge depletion. And it doesn't change from level 1 to level 10, as far as I know. So there's no reason to increase Lux Madoka at that point. There's also no point at this point to give any levels to any of the other characters. Put some levels here, right? But yeah, generally I don't need to level anyone else up either, like on magic level. You're so close to level 100, come on. Okay. Yeah, Manga JB died of unnatural died of natural causes. EN was an assassination. Exactly. There's no way you're leveling up characters unevenly. I am. So I'm about to pump all of this into Homura. Like, once I get more Dark Orbs, I'm pumping all of this into Homura, by the way. Like, she's getting to 120. Next. I have 10 orbs. You need exactly 10 orbs to get from 110 to 120. So all those 10 orbs are now getting into Homura. That's what I'm gonna do. You want him to add QB back as a unit? Please no. We don't need Mercury again. Yeah, Kaidi is actually the best on the Kamore triangle, which is interesting because she's not supposed to be that good actually. What happened to all the good gacha games? Do I feel like cash grabs now? Wait, I thought it's the exact opposite. If we think about all of the gacha games that were made in like the 2010s to 2019, like 2010 to 2019, basically every single gacha game that came out in that time had like barely any gameplay and was mostly just, here's a vehicle for a gacha, right? Like, do you know how many gacha games Square Enix made that is really just, here's a Final Fantasy gacha game that has no gameplay, but you can spend money on the gacha and you can spend like $1,000 on a single 10 roll or whatever, and like some insane shit. And it feels like it took until Hoyoverse, it took until Hoyo to actually have gacha games that had good gameplay. Like, gacha games with good gameplay before Hoyo were almost unheard of. But then Hoyo comes along and says like, what if gacha games actually had good gameplay? What if they were like games that you can play with gameplay? And I feel like that was a major shift in the gacha sphere. And I think like ever since Hoyo brought out Genshin, more and more companies have actually made gacha games that are actually good games. Like actually good games. So I feel like this is actually not, I wouldn't say it's the golden age of gacha games, but it's a much better age of gacha games than like the 2010 to 2019 era. Because that really was just every single company's making like 5 gacha games a month, and then every single one of them dies, and they don't have any gameplay, and they just exist to make money out of dumb people. Maybe there will be a girl that relies on break effects to big effects, possible. If I use all of those 10 ropes now, I don't think we've got that much of an issue. Because we're also going to get more orbs. I still have to get 5 orbs from the event shop, by the way. I still haven't gotten those. You play during the dark age of gacha games. Gacha games are so much better now. Exactly. Gacha games are much better now. Much, much better. Square Enix in their dead gachas. Absolutely. That was some bad time, man. The most fun memories I've seen with Alice, you need to play some Hoyo games if you want some good-ass games. I doubt we're getting any healers for a while. I can't think of a girl who can be a healer coming up, maybe except Melissa. Switch with healing. That's possible, but I think Melissa would probably make more sense as Breaker because her actual like fighting style is just bonking people on the head with a null stick or whatever. Nemo could be healer. I think Nemo is probably going to be buffer. Man, Jiv has sent us Discord about Square Enix and their gachas. I don't think I've seen that. I might have seen that. See, I've seen a lot of memes. We could actually... does that make sense right now? I might have to do that. Okay, hold up. I have an idea. Let me go to Tier Maker and Magi Record. Quite a Magi Record. All units tier list. Oh man, this is perfect. Let's see. I have something brilliant. Something absolutely brilliant. You guys are gonna be shocked at what I'm about to have for you guys. Okay, this is about right? Yeah? What do we have? We have Attacker, we have Breaker, whoops. We have Buffer, we have Debuffer, we have Healer. Where's the extra button? Arrow below, there we go. And then we have Defender. Hold up, this one needs to be purple. I don't remember all the colors. This is gonna be good enough. Was that green? I think this was blue or something. Good enough. Okay. You send it again. Okay. I guess. Oh, what? Someone else pinged me. Yeah, we need... Oh my god, we need more stuff on the Discord. I'm like working so much stuff. And it's still not enough. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, man. But yeah, I think we're gonna do something here. Mostly play rhythm games like D4DJ and Bandoi. So other games are region locked though. Yeah, that sucks. You had more fun playing gacha games 10 years ago versus now. Talking about the traditional gacha games such as Dan Memo, Valkyrie Crusade, Ayakashi Ghost Guild, Age of History. I've not played any of those. You say Hoyo crap, but like just as video games, Hoyo still have like better video games than all the other gacha games, to be fair. Like we have to agree to that. Okay, you don't have to agree to that, but you have to admit it. That just as video games, they're just much better. If Felicia's stun would work on every enemy, theoretically it does. I don't think there's a single enemy that's like immune to stun, they just have really high resistances. When off topic you posted it. Oh. Oh, that one. Yeah, I think I've seen that. Oh my god. How many is that? It's like 40 or 50? It's like 40 or 50 gacha games that Square Enix made between 2010 to 2019 that, and even, or rather between 2010 and today, that went out of business. Jesus Christ. Meteor Mask, welcome to be a deeper friend. You know what, let's actually go through it. You stuck on Towers Graffiti, any recommendation? I think that was the one that spammed Burn? I'm not quite sure. Okay, and by the way, and then we're gonna have one. We need another one. Arrow below. Whoops, I needed one. And this one is Duo or NA. Duo. Yeah, so because duos need their own space, because I don't think duos are going to be added to this right here. Okay, I also need to do something else. Hold up. Oh, I'm going to be all crazy about this. Look at this. And then we do that. Oh, do you see that? It's slowly disappearing. Much better. And then we do this on this side as well. Ah, perfect. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. I need for speed degrees. Ooh, question, is Hana crazy? She absolutely is. Horror games are fun at the start, but my issue is that all single player casually friend gacha games are typically more competitive co-op experiences. I never actually played many gacha games that were like co-op or multiplayer. Like almost every gacha game I ever played was like single player oriented. So I actually kind of enjoyed that horror games are also more so about the single player aspect. But yeah, if you specifically want co-op, then yes, the horror games don't do much for you. I agree with that. They could have maybe done that a bit better. I'm gonna put some barriers. Oh, probably not, because he doesn't really use them like that. Okay, let's actually do this. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you. We're going down the list from left to down there to this entire list. By the way, this is all the Mega Record playable characters. If this list looks like a lot, that's because Mega Record had a lot of fucking characters in it. And we're just gonna go down the list and we're just gonna check out what roles these guys could have. I want to see if I can actually change some stuff. Hold up, how would I do this? I want to see if I can change the titles of this. Okay, I needed to pull that out. Pull it out. Okay. Okay, do this, do that. Back here, awesome. I hope that worked. Perfect. Whoops, no, I needed that back. Jesus Christ, what am I doing? No, this back. Jesus, I'm throwing everything around. Okay, perfect. Oh, it just works. Junko Kaname goes where? In the drunk role. Okay, now we can actually start. Okay. My record needs to make it in April Fools. We need. We need Tamura. We need Tamura in April Fools. It's gotta happen. Hey, congratulations, cool kid, on beating Nightmare Mode Needlewitch. Hey. Actually, it's most like a attacker to make it different from 5 4-star. So here's the thing. For this list that we're making right now, we're gonna specifically go for the 5-star. And you're right that the 5-star versions for Ashley probably should be attacker. You're right. Like 5-star Ashley probably should be attacker, okay? Does this scale of level, could you be level 1 have the same base chance for stuns? Hold up, I can actually check it right now. So if I go into my Felicia... Whoops, not here. What am I doing? So I think it does actually go up with level. Am I blind? I am blind, Jesus Christ. So I can tell you that her special, the chance to stun with her special goes up from 60% to 80% if you level up her special. And her skill is always 60%. So her skill is not more likely to stun, sadly. Yeah, her skill is not more likely to stun, sadly. But her Kyoko is. Okay, so then we have Mifuyu. I kind of want to put Mifuyu in debuffer, because the thing is, Mifuyu does a lot with illusions, right? She tries to trick opponents in a sort of way. I can tell you right now, this debuffer segment might get very full. Like, there might be a lot of characters in the debuffer segment, I can tell you right now, because a lot of characters in this game are like debuffers, right? That's gonna happen a lot. We'll see, we'll see. So, next up we have Hikaru. Hikaru is someone who is on the front line and goes toe-to-toe with people. She's like a bruiser character. She likes dodging stuff. And I see her not as an attacker because she doesn't deal that much damage. I see her more as a breaker. Maybe she could be a bit speed-focused. Maybe she could try to throw a bit of debuffs on the enemy, right? But I see her as someone who is like trying to poke enemies down in single target. Like a single target breaker is probably what I see Hikaru as. And maybe her special could be AoE when she brings in the Hikaru core, because the Hikaru core will just break every enemy. I think that's what I am seeing for her. When Saika in 2's costume. 2? Oh, you mean from Drakengard? Oof. Yeah, she can give misrate chance. Oh, the thing is also about Hikaru. Hikaru could give herself like evasion, but I don't know about evasion in this game. I kind of don't want evasion in this game. Oh, you mean 2B instead of Drakengard, because I think Drakengard is also a character called 2. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know if I want evasion to be in Exedra, because evasion would kind of suck, to be honest. Yes, 2 from Drakengard, okay. So I don't want evasion in this game. If it's only for you, like even if it's only on player characters and not on witches, the thing is, if it's on a player character, you're gonna see it in PvP. I don't want to have PvP where enemies can evade my attacks. But I guess we can assume that maybe these characters might have evade. Let's for theory crafting. For theory crafting, we're gonna assume that evasion may become part of the game at some point. So Hikaru, in my opinion, is a breaker who might have evasion as a passive. Then we have Ao. Ao, maybe a buffer. So Ao was I think she was like an Excel character, right? I think she was an Excel character. I can actually look it up. I think she used a lot of specials, but I think did she actually have it? Like maybe breaker? She's a character that I'm not actually that sure about, like how she would actually fight in Exedra. Why can't I find her on the list? I'm blind today. There we go. Kasane Ao, yes. She was an Excel character, yes, so she would have fast specials. She would give fast specials. She would... Yeah, she removed buffs from enemies, removed ground effects from enemies. That was her specialty, by the way. That's why she was actually really good. And she granted damage up to allies. So yeah, she was a little bit of a mixture between a buffer and a debuffer. She also gave like defense down to enemies. So she did a little bit of buffing, a little bit of debuffing. So she could be either buffer or debuffer. That has really fast specials, like uses many specials. I think I'm gonna put her in buffer for now. Because her Magi was like really good for like buffing the damage up as well. I think it was one of the only people that had like damage up buffs. But like magic wise, she's kind of like a trickster character. Not like a trickster character, she lies a lot. You can't really trust her. But that doesn't really translate that well into her skill set, because her skill set really is just buffing and debuffing. I don't know, I think I'm gonna leave her at this for now. But I can also see Breaker. I think we're just gonna move on because we're not quite sure. So Shigure, she's kind of useless. And if we're talking about what do we do with useless characters, is we put them in healer. That's what we do with useless characters. Yosuru is gotta be attacker. Because Yosuru is just okay. But by the way, Shigo is probably more so a buffer actually. Yosuru, yeah, Yosuru I can see as being an attacker because she's really, really angry all the time and she gets angry very quickly. Okay, like she isn't normally angry, but when she starts blasting and when she starts using her magia and everything, she gets angry and it becomes like a fury. So I think I can totally see her as like that. Healer pretty good in this game though. Yeah, but every healer is usually a useless character like in lore. Livia's gonna be a debuffer who does. He's gonna go really big on curse damage, and curse damage means it's gonna be dark type. She's gonna be a dark type curse character. And yes, I know that's gonna be kind of weird that she's not void type in this character, and I think it's also kind of weird that she's dark type when she's dark. And then we have Felicia-chan. I don't know if Magi-Reppo characters are gonna be in this. Felicia-chan might be debuffer as well. No, it's gonna be Breaker because Big Hammer. Come on, Big Hammer. We already have the other Felicia being a debuffer. It's gotta be that. It's gotta be that. So it's gotta be a Breaker. Heals are pretty good. Yeah, Mita might be opposite of Livia, a buffer. I think they're both gonna be debuffers. They gotta be. Mita-chan gives healer vibe. That as well. This one's gonna be a healer. We need a Iroha that's a healer. The fact that we have an Iroha and she's not a healer, even though her magic is about healing and she heals people in the story, like in the lore as well. Why is she a Breaker? She's gotta be a healer. That's Iroha-chan. Okay, we have this is. Oh god, also healer maybe? Like this one might actually be healer, right? Like Haruki Sayaka, maybe a healer. Because she was more supportive. She could also be buff. Like she was the most supportive version, I guess, than regular Sayaka. So I can see either healer or buffer. Not sure about this, because this is one of those characters I'm not quite sure about. Because it's mostly just Sayaka, but a little bit more supportive. A little bit less focused on herself. Like a more altruistic version of Sayaka. So I can see her maybe being a healer. That's just Haruki Sayaka, and then we also have Valentine's Nagisa. I can see that maybe as Breaker or Buffer. Breaker or Buffer. I guess she's Buffer, right? Imagine Murakami with one-time revive. Maybe Livia will be Kafka-like unit. I can see that. Like Livia is going to be absolutely damage over time focused. Absolutely. Yukika. Okay, Yukika is going to be an attacker and she's going to have the passive that the lower her HP is and the more debuffs she has on her, the more damage she does. That's going to be her deal, that she takes a lot of damage and she takes debuffs, but then actually does more damage herself in return. Because that's basically her gimmick from Magi Record, is that she, like the worse a situation looks for her, the stronger she becomes. Revive is for sure is coming, the ghosts don't disappear, they're still present. That is true, yeah. That could be, yeah, you're right, they're still present, so you could select them with a revive if that was possible. Then we have, oh my god, I don't want to put her anywhere, can we just move on? And then we have Maria-chan, who is going to be a healer, so... She's got to be a healer, right? Because the thing about Maria is that she has like a mom complex in a way where she wants everyone around her to treat her like a mom. She always says like, call me mommy, please. And it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. But yeah, I think the mom type characters like that, I think the healer just makes sense, right? I think that just makes sense. Then we have the History Gang. So History Gang, we gotta have a Breaker, we gotta have a Buffer, and we're gonna have another Buffer? I'm not sure about that. History Gang. So what are the abilities again? So we have Bring History to Life, we have Make Movie Shoots Go Correctly, and we have Make Stories Come True. Those are the three abilities. I don't think any of this translates really well into the game. Like I feel like these are three characters that I don't think actually translate really well into Exedra. I think I actually can't see this being debuffer. I have no idea about these two. Like I don't know how their abilities would translate into actual gameplay. They're actually acting like Hasuki giving more turns. Yeah, I mean, generally, this is the one that I'm the most sure about, because being the, like, her ability, like, makes movie shoots go correctly, as in things are going to end up good for you. That can be a buff. Like that, I can see that as being a buffer. But making stories come true could be also be a buffer. Like I kind of think that makes the most sense in this regard. But none of them are really like fighters or battle people. They're part of a history club that makes a movie. That doesn't really translate into battle and stuff. Then with the Sentai character, I can see her being a defender or a breaker. So I see like Super Sentai stuff, which means that you either defend. I can see her being a defender simply because Super Sentai characters are supposed to be the defenders of the innocent, and she sees herself like the defender of the innocent. So maybe I can. We need defenders. Okay, so defenders is quite lonely. It's like no one there. It's like no one there. So we could be a defender. Then we have Meguru, who's definitely gonna be a buffer. She's a radio MC, right? She does radio casts. And I think that's buffer. That's buffer. And Sakurako. Sakurako I can see as being either attacker or breaker. I think she looks really cool, and I want to give her an attacker. I want to say that she's gonna be an attacker, right? It's gotta be. It's gotta have Sakurako being an attacker. It's gotta be. Then we have Crane Girl, who can be Anka. Anka can break. Right? Eternal Sakura attacker? Yeah, it's gotta be. Tamani gives breaker vibes? You think so? Think so it's a breaker? You know what? I'm gonna work with your idea. I'm gonna put her there. But I think it's also gonna be a breaker. Because she has a huge claw. When you have a huge claw like that, and you whack people with a huge claw, that breaks people. It breaks their bones. They just crack open, right? It's gotta be. Then we have the wannabe magical girl. Dude, I don't know where to put Rion. She wants to protect her sister, sure, but I guess if you don't know what to do, you just put him in breaker. I think there's gonna be a fucking theme today that's gonna be a lot of characters that we don't really know where to put them, to be fair. Okay, Kaharu Yuna. I think she has money, and she hits people with money. Like, she literally does. She literally hits people with money. So I think if I got hit by a giant wad of cash, that would break me inside. So I think she would also be a breaker, right? Leon Defender. Because she defends her sister? I don't think that... You know what? I'm gonna put her there. It's okay. And then Rui. Rui, I think it's gonna be... debuffer or attacker? I kind of want to put her in debuffer. Because she's like a dark type character who is kind of mysterious and chuny. And I can see her being a debuffer. She's using dark magic, dark evil magic, right? Yeah, I think using dark evil magic for weird shit, I think that makes you a debuffer. I think that makes sense, right? I'm gonna just put that. Then we have Yoko. I think she was a buffer, basically, right? I think it makes more sense to be a buffer. Or a healer? Not quite sure. Buffer, squid. Then we have a duo. Actually, you know what? Let's just go through all the duos immediately. Whoops. All the duos. Get them out of the way. I wouldn't miss any. I'm definitely gonna miss any accidentally. Look, I'm gonna come as a duo. That is not a single character. Mokyu does not attack by itself. Mokyu has other people attack for her. For it? Him? Them? I don't know. That's a duo right there. That's another duo. That's one. There's gonna be a lot of characters in here where I just don't know. You know, wish to be like Holy Mommy, so she'd have the same role. I'm not sure about that, but I can see where you're coming from, yeah. What else do we have? There's gonna be a lot of duos in here, actually. There's even some trios in here somewhere. Like, it did actually have some trios. Like, this was a trio, actually. There's one. I'm gonna go quite fast through a lot of these. Because to me, there's a lot of them. I'm not gonna be able to finish this today if I take too long. And one more. I probably missed one somewhere. Okay. Lapine, defender, easy defender. easy defender. She literally can't die. So it's gotta be like that. Senior type capitalist. Ooh. Like I hit Kirka defense Oriko. Yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna get the most popular image units in the game. I might get duos if they're popular. Yeah, I'm still gonna put them in their own category. Final turret is gonna be an attacker, and regular turrets are gonna be an attacker because you just kill enemies. You just kill enemies really hard. Chiharu, she detects. She's a detective, right? But she doesn't really do much. She's one of those kids that don't really do much. I can see her being a breaker who debuffs a little, right? She's a breaker who also applies debuffs. I can see that maybe. Okay, I'm gonna go through this a lot faster. Okay, we have an attacker here. Hagumu. She can't really do anything. Hagumu is kind of useless. She's the worst breaker in the game. Okay, Hagumu is the worst breaker in the game. Then we have this one. You can be here. Himika. Okay, we're talking about 5 stars, by the way. We're talking about 5-star. 5-star Himika. I think it's gonna be a defender. I think 5-star Himika I can see as a defender. Okay, then we have another Homura. Fuck it. No, do we? I don't know. I kind of want her as a debuffer. I kind of do want her. So Homura got... Oh, that gotta be an attacker. Come on. Okay, that's a healer right there. This is Ikumi. She's gotta be a healer. She's the maid who makes all your boo-boos go away. Awesome. Then we have this right here. That's a buffer. That's a swimsuit Iroha. It's gotta be a buffer or a healer. I can see either of those, either buffer or healer. Cat Homura debuff for sure. Cat Homura. Way too many colors. Then we have Kanai. Kanai has to be a breaker. Okay, here's the why Kanai has to be a breaker. Because Kanai's special magic ability is being able to like remove enemy defenses and break through defenses. And that sounds like a breaker to me. So it's going to be a breaker who also reduces enemy defense while she breaks. That's going to be her shtick. Then we have Kanagi, who breaks people's hearts on purpose. And that makes her a breaker. She like, that's what she does. Then we have Kiriko, we already know as a defender. Kyoko already knows an attacker. Seems like Kyoko basically was the exact same as regular Kyoko, but with a bit better damage. So I think it's going to be the same in here. That Swimsuit Kyoko is just the same with a bit more damage. And that's it. That's a Swimsuit Kyoko. Kanagi buffer? Nah. Kanagi takes people and like whips them on their ass. And that... Okay, you can argue that for some people that's a buff. Like some people will make it whip like that by a riding crop, by a dumb curl. That's a buff. But I'm going to put her in buffer for now. Then we have another heal Madoka. Oh god. Is it hydrated? Let's yeah, we already have this. We already have that, even though I don't agree with her being that. This and that, and even this. And defender, good. We have a buffer here. That's also what I would have done, by the way. Aimi. Aimi. I can see her being a breaker. Or a buffer. So a breaker. I think it's gonna be a lot of breakers, right? I think generally there's gonna be a lot of breakers. Breaker Homura has to come along since the combat style as well, ambushing surprise attacks. I can see that also happening at some point, yeah. I'm not sure about any of the ones that are in here though. No, I'm gonna put her in buffer because I think what Aimi does is she allows, I think that her magic is like allowing people to like, it's allowing people's attacks to strike true, right? To like have 100% hit rate on everything, right? Like I think she's a buffer who gives people crit rate. I think that's what she does. That would make sense, that she like buffs someone specifically, like one person with crit rate. Then we have Akira, who should have been in the game already, and should be a breaker because she like punches people, and yeah, that tears that tears apart people's defenses by getting punched so much. We have Asuka, who 5-star I think is also gonna be an attacker. Ayaka has to be a debuffer. Ayaka's ability is to turn things into jokes. She can like say your attack is a joke, and then your attack actually becomes a joke and becomes ineffective. And I think that's quite debuffer-ish to like turn people's defenses into jokes, for example. 5-star Ayame is a defender. Absolutely, you are indeed correct about that. Her magic is invulnerability. She's gotta be a defender. that makes the most sense. Aimi has to be a buffer, and not even because of her magic, but just being in the same room as her just gives you buff. What did I call it, by the way? Did I just say that it's the wrong name? I think I said the wrong name. Anyway, just being the same name gives you buffs, and that's why she's gotta be in there. Hazuki, 5-star, also has to be a buffer. I think that's just, we agree. Maybe 1 short crit. That could be a thing about Aimi, yeah. You're right. Hinano has to be a debuffer. Poison. Poison, poison, poison. All over the place with Hinano. She's the poison girl, so it's gotta be poison. That fits in there. Holy Mummy is a attacker who's gonna be really bad at attacking because she should have stayed a buffer instead. Then we have Holy Aina, who's also gonna be a debuffer, focused on poisons and removing debuffs, debuffing defense. That's what it's gonna do. It's gonna debuff defense. Kako 5-star healer, obviously. 5-star Kako has to be a healer. Who maybe does a little bit of support capabilities as well. I can see her maybe doing a bit of buffs in between her heals. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Kanako is a debuffer who does random crazy ailments. Here's what Kanako is gonna do. Kanako's skill and special are going to apply a random ailment to the enemy. A random ailment could be anything, right? Random ailment to the enemy. Absolute confusion, absolute what the heck is going on. That is what Kanako does. Then we have football. Football. I see it being a buffer. I think, no, not a buffer, a debuffer. No, a breaker. Oh yeah, she shoots high energy balls at enemies. And I think this is what's gonna happen, okay? She's gonna be the breaker. Kazumi is gonna be the attacker. She's gonna be the attacker, okay? So she does the damage. She breaks. I forgot all these people's names, by the way, because I'm really terrible with names, and if I haven't seen someone's name in a week, I've forgotten it. Even if it's one of my favorite characters, by the way. This is just what happens. Where's the third one? And we got the buffer right here. This is the trio, okay? This is the Kazumi trio. Attacker, breaker, buffer. That's the trio. That's what they do, right? That's what they gotta do. I think a healer will be able to make a shield too. At some point, there will be a healer that makes a shield. I'm pretty certain about that. Does need some work? Absolutely. Karin, 5-star Karin. I think it's also gonna be a breaker. I think 5-star Karin is gonna be like 4-star Karin, but like good. Buffer debuff. Oh, would that count as debuffing? No, you're right. I think that would count as debuffing if you're like stealing buffs and stuff from the enemies. I think that would make sense. You're right. Hey Tom Riddle, what's going on with the tower? We beat it. Tower seems to be like the last 5 stages of tower are basically as hard as Nightmare, okay? And everything from like 1 to 25 feels kind of simple and kind of easy. But yeah, like 25 to 30 is like kind of nightmarish. But if you're someone who has beaten Nightmare already, like I have, it's actually not that difficult, and you just win. You better get it for free again. I hope so. Kokoro 5-star, also gonna be a defender. Easy. Konoha 5-star. I think it's also gonna be a healer or a buffer. I think I'm gonna put her in healer for now. But I can see her being more of like an aggressive healer, like a healer that actually like could either do some damage or apply debuffs to the enemy, right? Like I can see her being a healer who maybe gets a bit wild with it, right? And then we have Konomi, who's also gonna be, it's gonna be a buffer, okay? And here's why she's a buffer and not a healer, because Konomi's ability is the ability to give flowers. That's her ability. Like if you look up her wiki page and like her manga archive, in the manga archive it says her ability is give flowers. And apparently that makes people stronger, so she's a buffer. Madoka 5-star, it's gonna be a healer. If I was making Madoka, but she's already in the game and they made a breaker, so I guess she's a breaker. It's not what I would have done, but I know. Archetype. I'm a healer but archetype. Yeah, that would be Konoha, absolutely. Because Konoha gets hysteric and starts screaming and shouting very quickly. So you can't really trust her. Manaka 5-star, gonna be a buffer as well. Because Manaka's ability is to make other people's attacks like wider and bigger. So like she embiggens other people's attacks is what her passive is, like her special magic. So maybe she makes other people's attacks hit more enemies. Like you give someone a buff and now that character's attacks hit multiple enemies at once, and if it's already AoE, then it hits some targets like twice, for example. I think that's what Manaka might do as a buffer. Regular attack is a breaker. All the pink girls are so far. That is more yellow than pink, to be fair. Master of 5-star. Already also has to be attacker. Hachikushimayoi breaker. Because she has a giant drill. So she has a giant drill. And how would a giant drill not be a breaker? Like, come on. It's gotta be a breaker if you have a giant drill. What else do we have? I got pinged again. Hold up. Okay, Jesus Christ. Giga Drill Breaker, absolutely. Mitama is almost here. Okay, hold up. First off, we gotta have a debuffer. So here's the thing about Mayoi, is that she's all about tricking people with her magic. So her magic allows her to basically make anyone believe anything. Like all of your senses and all of your memories could just be switched to something completely different from one moment to the next. So that sounds like a debuff to me, right? That sounds like debuffing to me. I can see her maybe stunning, maybe reducing defense, reducing attack, reducing speed, just the whole kit and caboodle. Kit and caboodle? Jesus Christ, what a word. I can see that. Yeah, damage dealt within one turn speed at the end of the turn. I can see something like that for Manaka. So yeah, now it's Mitama, and she's a debuffer who focuses on dark type curse damage. So she's a curser who does curse damage, and also she does defense down. So she does defense down to enemies while also putting on curse on the enemies. So curse plus defense down, that is what Mitama does. Compared to that, Livia is more about just straight up curse damage. So just damage over time damage, and Mitama is a bit of both. Bit of damage over time, bit of defense down. You can see you do that. I was wondering, do a Nightmare Witch guide? I'm absolutely going to do that, don't worry about it, it's Alex Solomon. I'm currently still working on the normal mode guy, which is... I'm going to stop putting an effort into that. I'm just going to shit it out really quickly, because normal mode, like, who cares about normal mode, right? And then I'm going to do one for battle mode, and once again, who cares about battle mode? It's going to be quite quickly as well, but I gotta do it. I need to do it. And then we're going to do one for Nightmare Witches. Then we have Nanaka, who 5-star... I think she's going to be an attacker, right? She's just really powerful as an attacker, as a blaster, right? It's got to be that. Then we have Natsuki, who is a buffer, because her whole shtick is that she's a cheerleader who cheers people on and it makes them stronger, right? Then we have Nemu. Nemu, I think, is a buffer, because Nemu can summon a whole load of stuff to be helpful towards you. So she can summon Uwasa to help you out, I don't know. I can also see her as a healer. But I think Nemu is not selfless enough to be a healer. I think buffer would make more sense. But you're right, I can also see her being... You know what, I'm going to put her in healer for now. I think I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually okay with her being a healer. Someone said it earlier as well. Yeah, I think so. Salami. Salami can be a breaker because she has a bow and stuff. I don't even know her name. Rika 5-star also has to be a buffer who specifically exists to buff Ren. That's what she's there for. Maybe took out breaker with burn damage? Possible. We have the knight. She's going to be a defender. So Sasara is definitely a defender because she is basically the defender of justice. Gotta be a defender. Then we have Kishal Asolo Orion Hat on the Blade. She's gonna be a... I think she was basically an attacker, right? Because she has the two giant swords, the Yokai Slayers or whatever they're called. Then Shizuku. I think Shizuku is a breaker, right? Oh god, this one's hard. I can see her being a breaker because she's not really that like offense focused to be an attacker, right? She's not big deeps damage. But she is someone who is really good at like putting the hurt on people with her teleportation stuff. So I can be her being like a breaker. I can see that with like really fast speed. I could see her being like a hyper speed breaker. First go with evasion. Yeah, she could also have evasion. That's true. And it could be attacker with someone's like a new style type character. True. If summons were in the game, like Star Rail, she would probably be an attacker. But for now, I'm gonna leave that there. She was part of that girl. Yep. Portals and teleportations. Then we have another breaker because she has a giant motorcycle. So she runs you over with a motorcycle. That sounds like breaking to me. Because when you get hit by that, your defenses are gone. Toka. So yeah, someone said... I don't think Toka's gonna be a breaker, though. I think he's gonna be an attacker. Because I think... Yeah, no, I think she's too... I don't know how I'm gonna call it. It's too selfish, too egotistical. And like, if you're thinking about what sort of roles in like MMOs and like MOBAs do selfish people play? DPS, of course, DPS. All the selfish people play DPS. So I can see her being a DPS just because she's too egotistical to play anything else. Then we got Molotov Cocktails. Debuffer, she's a burn-focused damage over time character, right? The cat is a damage over time burn character. I can see that being the case because she throws Molotov Cocktails. Sounds like a burn character to me. Then we have Swimsuit Homura, who I think is gonna be a buffer as well. I think she really didn't do much. Like, I think this is one of those characters that had like basically nothing in her skill set. I can see her buffing evasion. Do you have the double variance units role? I don't think we have that. I mean, we have double Kyoko, for example, in here, but not something specifically. Okay, we have a debuffer here. Mami, for some reason, is a buffer. Not what I've done, but okay. Moemora is... Oh, God. What would Moemora be? She would be useless. She would probably be useless. Buffer or debuffer? Oh, yeah, no, you're right. She would be a debuffer who uses stuns. Like, right? She would, like, try to stun enemies. I think that's what she would do. Right? Like, time stop is basically stun. So, you just stun the enemy with time stop, basically. Mocha is a healer who gives people cakes and chocolate, and then they eat the chocolate and cakes and they get healed by it. That's Mocha. Then we have a buffer. We have Mel, who just buffs people by reading their fortunes. Although you can also probably put her as debuffer if she reads the fortunes of enemies, which usually ends up with them getting something bad. But I think theoretically you would probably want to put her in buffer. Mitama Harigi would probably also be debuffer. But this one would probably be less focused on curse and more focused on defense down and attack down. I think that's probably what the differences between those two would be like. Then we have her. She's a turtle. She can be a defender or whatever because you're a turtle. And then we have Nagisa, who is going to be... Oh god, what is Nagisa going to be? Healer. Yeah, fuck it, healer. And then we have Nanoha, who's going to be an attacker simply because she's going to be next to Fate. Haha, no, she has to be buffer actually. Nanoha has to be a buffer. Because she's all about the team. She's all about the team and togetherness and friendship. And someone who's about friendship wants to buff her friends. Thanks for my Exedra content has to see in the grown-ass manga into magical series. Absolutely. And thank you all for watching as well. By the way, in case you guys didn't know, most of the people who are into magical girl series that are like Madoka are actually guys. It's actually mostly guys who are into this kind of stuff. Like, I can tell you right now, there's more guys on the Exedra Discord than girls. Just so you know. Healer should be the anti-debuffer role, clearing stat changes. That is, yeah, that could also be a thing. Yeah, I could see that as also being healer, you're right. Oriko is an attacker for some reason. Reina-chan, the idol Reina-chan is going to be a buffer because, of course, she sings for her fans to empower her fans. It's gotta be a buffer. Riko, 5-star, is a healer, right? And I think she's also kind of healer who also is going to provide some buffs. Like, it's going to be a hybrid between healing and buffing, is my guess for Riko, what she does, and 5-star. Tsuruno, so since regular Tsuruno is a buffer, Uwasa Tsuruno is a debuffer. Because you see, you get the two between them, right? The dichotomy between them. It's gotta be that. So basically, every single buff that Tsuruno does, Uwasa Tsuruno does as a debuff to the enemy. There you go. That's how you do them. We have some dead girl. She's gonna be a... I think she's gonna be a debuffer. No, she's a breaker because she has a fucking bazooka. And she blasts people apart. But she wasn't really that high damage in my record. So I think she just has a really low damage bazooka. So she's gonna be a breaker. Hana, it's gotta be a debuffer. 5-star Hana also gotta be a debuffer because she's really evil and angry and just hates the world and everything. So now absolutely is a buffer. She uses her mystical Tokime arts to assassinate people, and it's actually an attacker. There you go, there you have it, assassination magic. But yeah, she's gonna be a buffer. And then you have Ultimate Madoka. Ultimate Madoka is gonna be a healer, but she's gonna be a healer who kind of does everything. Like, you know, where they have basically the kitchen sink skill set where they can do everything. And they're also gonna heal everyone for like 3 times their HP, and then also give them like a shield, and then also give them a anti-ailment shield, and reduce and remove the ailments and remove the debuffs, and it's basically everything, right? Nijizo Bazooka, exactly. And then we have Yuma, who 5-star is also gonna be a healer. Then we have the Amanes, and the Amanes, I think you already kind of know what they do, but I forgot which was which. I think Tsukasa was actually an attacker that dealt more damage the more ailments and debuffs the enemy has. And I think Tsukuyo was actually a debuffer who put ailments and debuffs on the enemy. I think that's what they did. So I think this is how they're gonna look like as 5 stars. Now they might not be 5-star when they actually release. Like, I think they might actually like be more 4-star characters because they're not actually that powerful. So it kind of makes sense. Alina has to be a debuffer who worries about poison. By the way, we still have so many characters. Jesus. A poison-focused debuffer, gotta be Alina. It's gotta be it. Then we have the one who writes everything down. Look, like I said, I forget everyone's name if I haven't heard it within like a week. Kagome. So Kagome, I think it's gonna be a buffer because she just stands on the sideline and just writes down what is happening, right? But I can see her like trying to help people, like as a buffer. But I guess you can also be a healer. But I think buffer makes probably more sense. Yuna. Okay, a lot of people say Yuna is going to be an attacker. I think it makes actually more sense if she's a breaker. Because Yuna has a giant spiked club. And she just clubs people really hard with that. Yuna's time of damage reduction. Possible. It's actually also another thing that's possible. But here's what I think. Here's why I think she's a breaker. Not just because of the club, but I think she's going to have a special passive where the lower HP she has, the more break gauge depletion she has, and the more break bonus she has, right? And both her skill and her ultimate actually damage herself, but her special also gives her a shield, right? So special deals damage to herself, skill deals special to herself, skill deals damage to herself, special deals damage to herself, and gives herself a shield, a really big shield, and her passive is the lower her HP is, the more break gauge depletion she does, and the more break bonus she does. Jesus, I think that's what she's gonna be like. But I can also see her being a damage redirection defender. That is also possible. I can see that being the case. Personally, I'll put her in breaker, but yeah, I can also see that being a thing. Obviously, the 3-star characters will get 4-star variants. I hope so. I think they do. I certainly do. Taka seems to have more precision-based weapons, absolutely. And Dur passive, probably that as well. Like, it can be a passive with both effects, right? It can also be a passive that has what I said, and then also the first time you like were to die, you instead survive at 1 HP or something. Judy, I think this might be a bit controversial to put her not as an attacker, but I think she's going to be a debuffer who focuses on burn damage, right? She's going to put like a really high burn damage on the enemy, and then she will deal bonus damage based on how much damage over time effect the enemy is taking. I think it's going to be something like that, where she's like, no, I have it even better. Her skill applies burn to every enemy, and her passive is she deals more damage the more enemies are burning. She wants to burn everyone. Awesome. Flamethrower. Shizuka's an attacker, but I can see her being like kind of bad attacker, like a not very good attacker. But I think she's gonna try to be an attacker. Himena is a debuffer through and through because she just wants to mess with everyone. She's kind of evil, and she's very I'm evil. I do evil stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm very cute too. Like, she's someone who is like very open about being evil, but it's okay because she thinks she's cute. That's basically the kind of character she is. Yuna damage increases as team members die. That's also possible. Yeah, you can do a lot of Yuna. It's not really fun. So here's the thing about Sun. Sun is a healer. I don't know why, but she just is. And we just have to live with that reality. Miuri is a break dancer, and that's why she's a breaker. She like breaks all over the characters, and she has a passive where if she deals a crit, she like takes her arm off. She's really evil. And then we have Rabi is I can see Rabi being a breaker who is like an AoE breaker, because she throws a boomerang and it's like hitting every single enemy, and getting hit by a boomerang, that would break me. I think that would break me really hard. Asahi is a, I can see her being an attacker who, similar to Yachio, deals really high damage based on crits. So when she crits, she deals a really high amount of damage. I can see her being that. She's a sniper. She's like a World War I sniper. Really interesting. And then we have Sasha. Sasha has to be a buffer, and her special ability is if you buff an adult male, the buff is stronger, because she's in love with her teacher, her male teacher, which, let's move past that. And then we have the frog girl. She's a debuffer or a healer. I can see actually being both, but I think you're gonna put her in debuffer right now, because she's the kind of character that strikes me as that kind of character. Nayuta is... She's kind of confused in her kit, but I can see her also being a breaker. It's breaking down a little. I'm not sure about all of these. Mikage is a buffer, because she was one of the best buffers in the entire game. What do you mean Mikage debuffer? She's one of the best buffers in the entire game in Manga Record. Maybe the best buffer. You want Mikage's story? Look, I gotta put Mikage in buffer after I've seen her in Manga Record. I gotta. But you're right, I guess maybe debuffer. I don't know. Okay, so defender. It's gotta be defender. So we actually have another defender right here. And then we have Koroe. Koroe is an attacker. She's an attacker who tries to use many specials, like she's trying to spam specials. Wiki literally says her magic weakens targets and then anger negative wish. You say that, but that was not what her skill set was like in Manga Record. Her Manga Record skill set was completely different. But I could also see her in debuffer, you're right. I just remember her from Manga Record. I just remember her skill set from Manga Record, and that just was the best buffer in the entire game, so I'm gonna put her in there for now. But you're right, you're right. Mikoto is a debuffer who's very, very evil and angry and makes your life a living pain. Welcome as well, Afi. Hi, how's it going? And then we have Ayaka. So Ayaka is a attacker. I don't know why there's a Genshin Impact character on this list. It's kind of weird. And then we have Ninja Girl, who I think is going to be a breaker. I think she's going to be a character who on crits does like extra break. It's kind of the character that I'm seeing right here. Ebony. Buffer, fuck it. And then we have a defender. Oh, actually a defender. I think both of them are going to be defenders. And I think the reason why is because Gunhilda is going to be a defender, okay? So Gunhilda is a defender because she's a bruiser who gets in the battle and like tanks hits, a lot of hits. I think there's like a CG image of her having like 50 arrows in her or something. So yeah, that's what she does. And Olga really wants to be like Gunhilda, right? Or no, the other way around. They want to be like each other because they're like really close. And I think because of that, they're basically doing the same thing because they want to be like each other. So I think they're both going to be defenders. I think that's the idea behind them. And then Haruka is going to be a healer because we need healers. But you can also be a buffer maybe. But I can see also being a healer. Also, she looks kind of like Kako, so noodle hair, green hair, noodle hair. Come on, they're going to be a healer. Different types of defenders. Yeah, I can see them being different types of defenders. Not literally the same character, right? They're not literally going to be the same defender. But I can see them being like similar in that. Toyo. Toyo is an attacker. And then we have Amaryllis is going to be a debuffer. She's going to roll. Okay, here's the thing about Amaryllis. She's going to roll a dice. And depending on what the dice rolls on, she's going to get different debuffs. Or how strong her debuffs are is going to depend on what she rolls on the dice. Because she really likes like traditional games and dice rolling. And her weapon is a dice. So I think that's what she's going to do. Then we have Uasa Sana, who's going to be a defender, but a very offensive-oriented defender compared to her normal design. Then we have Fairy Tail Mifuyu. Breaker, fuck it. Buff and debuffer. Yeah, I think one of those defenders is going to be a buffer and the other defender is going to be a debuffer. Like, more focused on those kinds of aspects, I think. So Holy Momoko. Holy Momoko is an attacker with really big hits that's going to hit really hard. And then we have a Vampire Kanagi who's going to debuff because she sucks blood. And by sucking blood, she like mind controls people. And mind control sounds like a debuff to me. Yokai. Yokai Kagome is a healer because she also wants to heal people. I guess that's that. Then Sunrise Shizuka is also gonna be attacker because she's like regular Shizuka, but better. Right? Please try PvP again. Oh, absolutely. Vampire Kanagi is gonna have evade again, and I'm not looking forward to that. This is okay. Uwasarabi is gonna be basically not Uwasarabi. What's it called? Kimochi Rabi. Kimochi Rabi is basically be like normal Rabi, but better, but more. It's more Rabi. Then we have Valentine Sudachi. It's also gonna be a defender like Sudachi, but better. Like this is the thing with a lot of these seasonal alts in Magi Record. Is that a lot of these seasonal alts, they had basically the same skill set as the regular character, but a bit better. And that was it. You're like, they were basically the same but better. And I think it's going to be the same again in this case as well, where, for example, Valentine Sudachi is just going to be regular Sudachi but better. Okay? Kuro, I think, is also going to be the same. Where would the Kuro? Oh, yeah, an attack. But I can also see it being as buffer because I think it was actually being pretty good as a buffer. Yeah, no, she's going to be a buffer. Right, I'm going to put it as buffer. Seasonal power creep, exactly. This Yachio, Tanabata Yachio, I think she's more break-oriented because she's less about just pure strength and she's more about technique and about weird shit. And so I think that makes her more like a breaker. Okay, then we have Dark Kanagi, who is going to kill herself and then deal 1 billion damage. And that's her kit. That's her kit. Special, dies, deals 1 billion damage. That's a kit. There you go. And then we have Darkness Mitama, who is also going to be a debuffer. This one is going to, unlike regular Mitama, is going to focus really hard on curse. She's going to curse really, really hard, and people are going to explode from the curse. Awesome. Then we have Anime Yachio, who's also going to be an attacker, but better. It's better Yachio. Awesome. Anime was okay. The anime versions just go next to their normal versions because that's just it's just anime versions of the same character. Like it's not going to be different. Come on. Anime Reina is the same. Like it's still the same character. Come on. This Yachio, the fairy tale Yachio, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a healer. You know what? Because, and then the next one is regular Iroha, which breaker like anime Iroha. Historia Yachio is gonna be the best DPS in the game, blowing people up. She's gonna have a passive that gives her 100 MP when the battle starts, and she only takes 120 to get to her special, so she's gonna use it immediately, and it's gonna deal a crap ton of damage even through break bar. Yep. Ultimate Iroha is also gonna be a healer, but a very good one. And then we have the Infinite Iroha Chan. It's also gonna be a healer. No, it's gonna be a buffer. No, where's a buffer? There you go. Buff people. Mabayu. Okay, Mabayu is actually interesting because I think she's gonna be a debuffer. Because she can like mess with people, like mess with memories and stuff and re-edit memories. And I think she'll be able to like mess up her enemies through that. So I think it's going to be a debuffer. So then we have this one, which I think is a breaker. Because she's basically Iron Man. So Marukami, like Papa Marukami-chan. No, Marukami Senpai. It's basically Iron Man. So I think it's going to be a breaker in a way. Then we have Anime Maruka, whatever, man. Then we have this one. You can be a healer, sure. Then we have you were a debuffer in Magaleka, so you're gonna be a debuffer again. You're gonna be another attacker, gonna absolutely blow people up insanely hard. You Marakami-chan just crash game with Magia, absolutely. That's a debuff. That's a break. There's a break. Yeah, there's a break. That's a break. And then we have this one could be a breaker. Awesome. This one is also a defender, but like a better. This is Beta Sayaka. Awesome. I love Beta Sayaka. This one is gonna be Better Mummy. Even better buffs. Awesome. And then Holy Mummy is gonna be... where's the other one? There you go. It's just look, it's Anime Holy Mummy. They're different characters. One is Holy Mummy, the other is Anime Holy Mummy. Different characters. You can imagine we get another move pushing debuffer. Yeah, I can see that. Akuma Homura-chan could be that. This Kyoko is not the same as normal Kyoko, but better. And we already have, like, this is 3 levels of Kyoko. Like, double Kyoko is going to be even better Kyoko. Like, shoving enemies to the end of a line. Yeah, like pushing down their turn in the turn order. This Nagisa is a buffer. screw it. And then we have Mitsuru, who's normal. Normal. She's normal. Okay, Mitsuru is gonna be a debuffer because her special ability is she's gonna return enemies to normal, which means she removes all their buffs. Like she removes buffs from enemies. But she will also have the ability to like remove debuffs from your team, but I think it's still gonna count as a debuffer by just being able to buff cleanse. But she's gonna be terrible because she's too normal. Chica can talk to animals. I'm gonna put her in healer. Because healer needs some love, and Chica wants to show us some love as well, and that's it. Hotaru, also gonna be a healer. She makes you sleep, okay? So Hotaru makes you sleep, and then when you sleep, you regenerate MP and HP and MP, right? Because sleeping is important. Always remember to get enough sleep, everyone. Very important. Jun also, she gives people candy, and when you eat it, you gain HP back. Awesome. Thank you, Jun. Mitsune is gonna be a debuffer. Maybe? It's gonna mess with enemies. Yeah, mess with enemies and do it. She hacks enemies. Like she shoots like a taser gun at enemies and then she hacks them. Hack. That's a debuff. Sae. I think it's gonna buff the team. She makes people sleep? What if it was a stunner? Stunners don't exist. Oh, you mean like breaker? No, I think it's like it's a healing sleep, right? It helps people. But I can see also being like having a stun as well. I think it's possible. Akarime is gonna be a breaker. Congratulations. Kush, 5-star Kush has gotta be an attacker. You gotta be an attacker, 5-star Kush. Sakurako, you're the same as normal Sakurako, but better. Awesome. Final Tower, it's the same as normal. Final Audiko, it's the same as normal Audiko, but better. So you go there. Final Kazumi is the same as normal Kazumi, but better. Like, it's just the same version, but better. It's like, come on. Mino is gonna be a debuffer because she's very evil and messes with people. Pernell is gonna be a buffer because that's what she does. She buffs people. Tsubaki, I'm gonna put her as defender because she defended her kids until she couldn't anymore, and that to me is a defender, right? Then we have Chisato and Takina, who are going to be 2 breakers, okay? And one of them is going to be single target, and the other one is going to be AoE, and that's how it ties together. And then we have Isabeau. Isabeau... This one is a defender, and this one is an attacker. Why? Because this one on here is fat. That's why. Then we have her. Korobo can be a debuffer as well because she's also evil and messes with people. And then we have Elisa. Elisa can be a breaker with big gun. Big gun. And then we have Matsuri. Matsuri blinds people, and that blinding people, that's a debuffer. But because of her punches, I can also see her being like a breaker. But I think she's gonna like reduce enemy chance to hit you, which yes, it's anti-evade, but fuck it, she blinds people, and that makes her a debuffer. We're almost done. Okay. We have another buffer. Jesus, I've got to run out of breath. Jeez, Kuro, you can be, oh god, regular Kuro, you can be a healer. You can heal Kuro. I don't know. Oh my god, Aisa, what are you? You can be a breaker, I don't know. Oh my god, I'm running out of breath. Chisato, you're gonna be a buffer because you help people across the street or something, I don't know. Regular Kuro, you can be another healer. You heal Homura, that's your job. And then we have a breaker because she has a giant thing that she, like, I know she made a wish for healing and that she can heal, but her fighting style is hitting people with a giant can. A giant barrel, and it makes people disintegrate, so that's a breaker to me. Italian Homura can be an attacker, just like regular Homura. Oh my god. Susune can also be an attacker. Jesus Christ. Tard is an attacker. So here's the thing about Tard. I think Tard's special ability is going to be that you can use multiple skill points at once to do a crap ton of damage, right? So she eats multiple skill points to do like 5 times the damage, and that's going to be what she does. Is when you break the enemy, she's just going to start eating all your skill points and one-shot the enemy. Awesome. Maruka Senpai. You debuff your enemy by making fun of them and being kind of weird about it. And then we have Mayu. Mayu can be a healer. You're a healer now, and you regenerate MP for your party as well. 5-star Mito, you can be a better breaker than your 4-star version. I think that's pretty good. I would also imagine that being a buffer, like she can also be a buffer, but for now, I think since she already is a 4-star breaker, she can be an even better 5-star breaker. Data. We have Phoenix Flames. Your Phoenix Flames heal people. That's a healer. Sayaka is already a defender. Sayuki, you buff people because you sing for them, and when you sing for them, it makes them more powerful. That's a buffer. Jesus Christ. Kumi Seika can be attacker because you already have a 5-star breaker on your team. And then we have Oi. Oi buffs the team by giving everyone MP. Like Raji redistributes MP across the team, and that's a buffer to me. Dragon Asuka can actually be a defender because we need more defenders, and regular Asuka is already an attacker, so Dragon Asuka can be a defender. Uvasa Mikoto can also be a defender because she just is. And then Anime Homura is just regular Homura but better. Anime Sayaka is regular Sayaka but better. Anime oh god, it's not just the anime versions, it's just the same as the normal characters but better. Same with this. Okay, what do we got? We have you and oh my god, Auswählen ability. What? Did it say that somewhere? What else do we have? Jeez. You kills people. That kills people. That's an attacker. And K is the buffer who buffs you so that you can kill people. We distribute MP. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, Jesus. Are we happy? Are we happy? Did we do it? We have 4 rows of attacker. 3 and like a bit more, 3.5 rows of breakers. 3.5 rows of buffers. A bit less than 3.5 rows of debuffs. I've had less debuffers than I thought, to be honest. There might be more characters that might be debuffers instead, to be honest. We have 2.5 rows of healers. Healers generally are a bit rarer, I think. And only 2 rows of defenders. Like healers and defenders are generally going to be a bit rarer, I think. And like breakers and attackers, I think are going to be a bit more often, which is something that we already see. Like we already see more attackers and breakers than like healers and defenders in the game. Duos I don't think are gonna happen, but I put them in the on category for now. Who knows? Who knows what the duos are gonna be? I guess it's gonna be up for interpretation. Yeah, and I think that's it. I'm gonna go back here. Hold up. We may get some new girls based on the characters that have actual models. The girls in Oriko will probably get added. Yeah, we know we're gonna get more characters like that were in the spin-offs. Also more Kazumi Marika girls, for example. Maybe Masuzune Marika girls even. That only appeared for like a single panel before they didn't exist anymore. So yeah, we know that. But they were not on here. Okay, oh Jesus Christ, that took a lot more out of me than I thought it would. So, do you think Exedra is something we'll have to worry about? Nah, I don't think so. I think there's still gonna be like another system at some point that increases the way, increases the ways you have of making your character stronger. But for now, I think it's not gonna be anything like 6-star anytime soon. We need more fire stuff. Yeah, I think so. And I think that's gonna be it for me today. We've gone for 2.5 hours, which is not quite that long, but to be fair, there wasn't actually that much that happened. Like we had Tower and then the tier list, so yeah, I think we're done for today. I'm gonna have to make a guide now for Sayaka, and I'm gonna have to make a guide now for the new Tower mode. But whatever, I'm gonna have to do what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna thank you all for coming out here and checking out this stream together with me. Well, I mean, I had to check out the stream because I'm the one running the stream. I couldn't like not do it. But yeah. But yeah, that was that. Thank you everyone for hanging out, and I want to... I don't know when the next stream is going to be, but whenever the next stream is going to be, I'm going to make another YouTube post for it, and I hope I'm going to see you again next time. Until then, bye! Bye!